Hello, everybody, and welcome to GameList, a show about our game of the year. 1 month at a time.
One game at a time.
One game at a time as well. You're so correct. That's the voice of one Kaulin, aka Kaulin _. I'm Jake Twitchin. We've got a packed fucking show for you. You having a good month, dude?
It's been a great month. February was great.
Yeah, I mean, it's March 3rd right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Is March good so far?
March has been fucking awesome, actually. I'm thinking it might be the best month of the year.
Really? No.
I
No
don't
way.
fucking know. Well, it hasn't been that great. I think February was better.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. February was great. February was awesome.
Yeah.
It was
Short
many
month.
good games coming out.
Short month goes
really
a long
short.
way.
True,
I like that.
true.
I like that. We could use like 2 more Februarys every 4 months.
Yeah.
A shorty. Yeah. And maybe like a long one. Like
no,
I
I disagree.
it's right now it's split like 30-31s and then a 28 sprinkled in. Give me one extra 28 instead of like a 31, and then give me like a 35.
No.
No? You don't want that
No,
special
my line
long
of
month?
work makes that so much more difficult. Imagine filling.
Ooh, it would feel good paying
month.
rent that month. Oh,
No,
you're
it
feeling like
wouldn't,
you're getting
because
one
you'd
over
be-
on them.
Well, but then you'd be paying so much more on the extra 28. You know?
Yeah. They get you on the other 28. No doubt. No doubt.
I think about it logistically, like a pharmacy filling a month prescription during a 35-day month. It's too much work.
Everything's all fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell of a start to the show. Today we're talking about quite a few things. We've got a lot on the docket. Primarily Destiny 2 is out. I've been playing Theatrhythm. We both have now finished Hogwarts Legacy. We're going to get into that in a really big way. We're going to recap Metroid Prime Remastered. There's a ton of stuff on the horizon, some really interesting news to go over. But Colin, what are you most excited about?
The thing that I'm most excited about, which I kind of pulled one over on you. I get to talk about 2 of my most excited things in a row, but
I'm being really nice because Destiny is out.
Yes, you should be nice.
Yeah, I put Destiny at the top of the list.
I deserve niceness for once. But no, before we talk about Destiny, I want to talk about
It's your special month.
PsychOdyssey. It's my
Yeah. I fucking love this thing. Tell the people what it is.
So for those of you who don't know, PsychOdyssey is a video game documentary by 2Player Productions, which is an in-house production studio of DoubleFine. You may know them from Psychonauts, hence the name PsychOdyssey, or Headlander, or Broken Age, which, let's be honest. How many people
Tim Schafer from winning every DICE or video game award or lifetime achievement award. He's old head of Lucas Arts back in the day, worked heavily on Grim Fandango and a bunch of other games of that nature. Absolute icon of the industry, and genuinely solid dude.
Yes,
come to find out,
he's so funny. So this is a documentary
Brutal Legend
spanning what?
Brutal Legend. That's I think the biggest game if people are trying to place who this guy is, it's Psychonauts, and then you should say Brutal Legend. I feel is the next way to get him.
I get Broken Age and Brutal Legend confused.
Yeah,
I've never played either of them. I've never actually played a DoubleFine game.
Wait.
Yeah,
you haven't played Psychonauts 2?
I've never played Psychonauts 1 or 2, which I think in the future, that's my next playthrough on YouTube.
Oh my god,
my
dude.
stream is Psychonauts 1 and 2.
Yeah, Psychonauts 1 is good. It's aged pretty well. Psychonauts 2 is an unbelievable video game.
I thought about just skipping straight to Psychonauts 2.
You could,
but I don't know. I hate doing
that. You could.
That
I think Psychonauts 1 ages well enough, and you would miss out on enough that. Yeah, I would say for you especially, I don't know for everybody. For some people, I would say, you know what, it's on Game Pass, go enjoy Psychonauts 2 and just play it standalone. But it should be prerequisite for watching this, because what we're talking about here is a documentary on the making of Psychonauts 2. Full of spoilers for Psychonauts 2.
Yeah, so lots of spoilers, which I've actually made it to... I'm about 7 or 8 episodes in, and there's not been that many spoilers so far.
Yeah.
It's just been Psychonauts 1... was the first episode.
Right.
And then there's been a little bit of Rhombus of Ruin, which is the VR game that kind of bridges the gap.
They'll like mutter things in this show within like minutes of an episode, unceremoniously ruining like huge plot beats of the show, of the game, basically. Like you won't even know that you're spoiled, and then you'll be like, oh, that was the guy.
And I think I might just go ahead and play 2 like soon before I finish this. But anyways, it's a great documentary. I love video game documentaries. I feel like I've mentioned No Clip on this podcast before.
Came up a lot during our Outer Wilds.
Yeah. So No Clip is wonderful, and they do documentaries. But there's never really been anything of this scale before. This is like a 24-hour documentary with all the parts.
Yeah.
All free on YouTube.
32
no
episodes.
It is insane. You get to see sides of development that you just don't think about. And it's an emotional journey because you begin to latch on to these characters that they're real people. They're not just characters. So they're even more complex than any character that you could create, right?
Right. Even with like a 10-episode documentary series, you don't really quite grow the same attachment that you would grab from spending the amount of time and over the amount of time that this takes place in. Because, I mean, you're used to like, this amount of time is typically reserved for things like multiple seasons of reality TV, and it is easy to think about them as like characters, but it takes place over 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah, and it's 22 hours of footage spread over 32 episodes, and it truly does resonate where, you know, you're, 7 episodes in, I'm 19 episodes in now, and you really end up at a point where it is devastating when somebody leaves or something happens to somebody. It is a trip, dude. Unlike anything I've ever watched, I can't recommend it enough. If you're a fan of games, if you're a fan of documentaries, if you're a fan of, I don't know if anyone's like a fan of workplace drama, but behind the scenes of like the workings of an independent game studio, if that tickles your fancy at all, check this thing out.
I was watching it, and I was watching it earlier today before I went in for class, and I was sitting there thinking, I was like, why did I pick my line of work when I could have gone into something where I could have this awesome like workplace, working with cool people, doing fun, creative things. And I'm like, I'm jealous of them. I want to work in that cool office and have a cool boss.
It does make you want to enjoy that environment. I mean, it's obviously such a rare thing to have that sort of
very rare
thing available to you, but really, really
and
cool
especially,
for those that it's worked for.
Like, since it's such a long documentary, you're not getting facades, right? Like, they can't just cloak their character for 7 straight years. So you're seeing these people for who they really are, and it's been a phenomenal watch. This will pop up again in our Game of the Year plus other categories.
Maybe Best Thing nominee so far.
Best Thing,
I'm with you. I'm blown away by it.
Yeah, well, I say watch this whether you play Psychonauts or care about Psychonauts or not, because it will really give you a behind-the-scenes view of how video game development really happens, and it will give you a greater appreciation for all the sweat and tears that go into these games. We take it for granted. Like, you know, we can get pissed about paying $70 for a game, but whenever you see all the human emotion and work that went into these games, it makes it all worth it at the end of the day.
Makes you want to go out and spend $100 on Psychonauts, you know?
Yeah, it does. Like, I literally am watching and I'm like, oh, Psychonauts is like $60 right now. I'm like, it's not on sale. I could wait for a sale, or I could just buy it now. I mean, it's like these people. Yeah, I might play it on Game Pass, but I want to get the trophies in it because it's a platformer.
That's a whole other thing too, dude, is like the behind the scenes of like, we're not going to get into spoilers here, but like where the money comes from. And
where
like,
the money comes
if you know the like lore of Double Fine Productions, and you know who put out Psychonauts 2, which is not a spoiler, that's common knowledge, is like Double Fine in the last 5 years was purchased by Microsoft. Like, you are going to watch a small studio hit it big, essentially. And one of the biggest small studios is going to hit the gold mine, essentially. And it's
They essentially have unlimited money to be as creative as they want to now. But then you also see, even in the first episode, Microsoft was helping back Psychonauts 1, and then they just dropped them.
The story of Psychonauts 1 is so cool. We need to do like a fucking conversation when this show is over. Maybe we can line it up. Maybe I can slow down and you can speed up or something like that, and next month we can just like spoiler cast it for an hour or something. I don't know. It's so good, and it does like, you really do want to share it with somebody. Like, you want to have that sort of like conversation. It's already so fun to talk about, and we're 10 minutes into the show, and I could go for another 25 minutes even just on the first quarter of the show that you've watched. But let's move on.
It's so good. I think we should move on.
I agree.
And maybe we should take a trip to Neptune.
Yeah, eyes up, Guardian. Eyes up, Guardian.
Listen. You said in the first trailer for Lightfall, you said, you know what, I might hop back into Destiny for this. Why didn't you?
I don't know. Same reason I haven't in a long time. I think it's just still like too daunting. The worst part about it too is that like, first of all, like, here's a quick preview of today's games that we're going over. Like, let me just roll down the list. I'm not going to roll down. That's not spoilers. We've been playing a lot of stuff, and to try to just pepper Destiny into all that, for me, feels unreasonable right now, especially with what's on the horizon.
Fair.
I think is what it
you
really boils down to.
You were in Destiny before I ever was, though.
Yeah, it's funny. I always think about that, too, because, like, I recently got my Xbox Series S going, and I was re-downloading all my stuff, and I saw that like I have Destiny 2 purchased digitally. Like, so I was day one midnight playing Destiny 2 when it came out, and I have my Destiny 1 Destiny 1 beta is on there too, under my licenses and shit like that. Like, I've been a Destiny guy for a very long time, and it's just gotten convoluted where, like, I don't know, at this point, like, I own Witch Queen was given away to me on one and this on the other, and, like, you know, here's my deal that I'll make for you. I'll play Destiny 2 when Bungie makes it convenient for me to play Destiny again. And they haven't done that yet. I know, and
Destiny
I said
3 probably.
If they get it right, and only if they get it right. But if they would just clean up their act, I don't know why it's not happening. Maybe it'll happen within the next 2 years under Sony's umbrella now. I wish that they would just say, Destiny 2 is a free-to-play game, and if you buy this new thing, you have everything that Destiny 2 has to offer. Come enjoy it with everybody.
Well, they have, like, the
You don't want to
Legacy
start your
pack.
game off with a fucking hurdle, man. Yeah, I know. They don't.
Well, I mean, they have the free-to-play version, which you get, like, a lot in the free-to-play version. I played the free-to-play version for months.
And the Legacy version's, what,
$40,
$40, and then Lightfall 60?
Yeah,
it was $100 to start your game. That game is like, I mean, it's such a bloodsuck of a game.
Way if you look at Final Fantasy 14, though.
I would agree. I'm not here saying that the bar to get into Final Fantasy 14 is low. And the problem is that, like, they start you with a hurdle. You know what I mean? That's how it feels. And you can't start with a hurdle. You need an inviting pasture.
See, I think most
come
people,
wade
like,
through this Destiny pasture with me.
I think most people just forget that the base game's free to play. There's a lot to play for free. Like, you just hop in and start playing, and then if you decide it's your thing, then you can buy it or you can drop it.
Yeah, you're right.
But there's a lot to play for free. For, like,
all right, stop bringing the negativity out of me. Let's celebrate Destiny 2 Lightfall.
I mean,
What's
going on? I knew it was gonna happen whenever we
I said I'd be
Destiny.
cool, bro.
But
I put it at the top of the show for you.
Lightfall is wonderful. Turns out I'm in the minority in thinking that. I played this game, so it released on the 28th, like at noon, right at the reset. And I got done with my work at like 3 o'clock. Streamed it for 8 hours plus. Did the entire campaign. Got the new Strand subclass, which has a grapple hook.
What is that for? Is that for one of the, like, you're like Titan or Warlock?
They all have a grapple hook. They gave the grapple hook to everyone if you want.
They're all Stranders.
So Hunter has an ability to, like, do 2 grapples. So the grapple hook takes place of your grenade. So you're like, oh, I'll lose my grenade, but you can grapple enemies and do a super powerful melee attack whenever you hit them, and then, I mean, it's like the strength of a grenade. But anyways, as the Warlock, I'm a Warlock, and we're called the Brood Weaver, and pretty much everything we do goes into creating little boys called threadlings. So the threadlings are like little. They're little,
cool, bro.
They're little bundles of strand. They're little like strand rats or whatever that go and they seek out your enemies and they explode onto them. But it's awesome. So my entire build now is around creating threadlings. This is how I feel when you talk about Final Fantasy 14.
I know. It's so bad. I like things that are way shittier and weirder than that. But it's just but it's funny. It's funny to hear you do it. And it's
going into this, I expected this campaign to introduce a new like cyberpunk-ish location, like a neon city, right? I expected it to kind of be a Avengers Infinity War to set up the end game next year in the final shape. I think most people didn't expect that, and they expected more resolution. So I played the entire thing without ever checking a review, without ever checking any thoughts that anyone had. So I came out of this purely my own thoughts, right? I love it. It's the most fun I've had with Destiny to date. It's the most fun I've had with a game to date.
It's the first expansion that you've ever been a part of from launch, correct?
It's the first expansion that I've ever been at launch.
That's going to be a special time, no doubt.
And it's just so fun. Granted, this campaign introduced more questions than it gave answers, and I think that's most people's problems. And a lot of people are mad that it didn't evolve the formula of the Witch Queen. But just looking back a year, people were so happy with the Witch Queen because it wasn't Beyond Light, right? But now that this campaign comes out and it's very similar in not story wise, right, but in like structure to the Witch Queen, people are mad that it didn't do anything else. But it's impossible to keep up with your fan base's expectation because game development takes so long, right? That's why I wanted to talk about PsychOdyssey first, is because people are so mad that this campaign comes out and it's similar to the Witch Queen in its structure when they wanted so much more. But just a year ago, they were so happy about that structure. Right. And then so people are coming out and they're like, oh, we data mined Lightfall and we found out they cut this, and this, and they're pushing it forward to final shape. And they're like, oh, we were cheated. They cheated us money. Yeah. But the thing is, people don't you've got two options
that's
here.
a vocal minority thing though, because people that are looking deep into like data mine stuff is like you're in the depths of like the Destiny gamer subreddits, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I told one of our friends that I play with, I was like, listen, they had two options. They could either delay Lightfall, which I would have been okay with. You know, you got to do what you got to do in game development, or you can push some of those things back and get Lightfall out on time and make people happy. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't, right? And it's like, just because this stuff was in Lightfall originally doesn't mean we're never going to get it, right? It doesn't mean it's not bad on the developer to push stuff out just to make things work. It happens in game development all the time. Sure. You just don't always see it. You see it happen in PsychOdyssey. You saw it happen with Psychonauts 1 and 2, and all other games have these problems. You just don't see it because people don't go digging into, I don't know, Metroid Prime or something to see what they cut just to make the game work.
I think you're absolutely right.
I think this is one of my favorite games of all time at this point. I've put in hundreds and hundreds of hours, and I don't plan on stopping. The campaign was wonderful. If you're a Destiny fan, don't listen to other people. Go in there, have fun with Strand. The campaign, like I said, it does introduce more questions than answers, but it is the Infinity War type thing. It left in a cliffhanger, ready to be resolved throughout the year.
Is what is announced... So it's supposed to be like the final Destiny expansion next or something like that?
The final shape, which is coming out next year, is the final announced expansion for Destiny 2.
Wait, it's called the final shape?
It's called the final shape. That has lore implications within Destiny. But
Sacred geometry shit?
Yeah, so the final shape it's been announced for years, right? Like I think it was back before the Witch Queen ever announced. They announced Witch Queen Lightfall final shape. And that's the end of their 10-year plan. It's the end of the Light and Dark saga. So everything from Destiny 1 to the final shape will be one giant saga. And then past that, we don't know. Is it going to be Destiny 3? Is it going to be another new enemy appears? We don't know.
They need to... I think that they should go back and they should retroactively call it just Destiny. Like soft reboot and just like no Destiny 1 or 2, just Destiny. Arguably it's Destiny 3, but it's just Destiny. Destiny as the platform. It never should have been Destiny 2.
Well, I think in some ways they need that, but at the same time, they need to drop last gen. It's over. It's time.
Yeah.
It's time to
Yeah,
drop
yeah,
last gen. I'm
yeah.
sorry if you're
Final
still on
Fantasy's
last
dropping
gen.
last gen this time.
Just save up and get the new console. It's been 2 years. If you're still playing and you're mad that
We
you
got
haven't saved
fucking
$5.
roasted. We got fucking roasted last time you said this in the YouTube comments.
Really?
Oh my god, roasted, dude.
I don't
So
read the
bad. I don't
comments.
remember the exact comment, but it was something that was like quoting you directly and then like eye roll emoji. Like, easy for the guy to say that got his hands on one. I've been trying to get one for 2 years. Meanwhile, you want me to not play my games or something like that? And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we got to remember that it's not actually available everywhere. It's not easy to just go to the store and grab.
It is
I know that it is in the
available
US,
everywhere
yes.
now.
In the US, yes, it is. I think that there's still some availability issues, and we're not here to
Listen,
we're not
all
here
I'm saying
to
is-
stunt on the pories.
try harder. It's not that hard. It's never been that hard.
No, I'm
I
with you,
got
I'm with
one
you, I'm with
on
you, I'm with
release.
you,
I
I'm with
have
you, I'm
friends
with you.
who've gotten mold. I got two
Things
on
have, that was
release.
6 months ago that probably happened too, and times have
Yeah,
changed since then. We've had another holiday season, a big push for availability.
I don't
But
even
I mean,
care,
still,
dude.
I don't know.
It's
You
never
can't.
been that hard.
The Series
It's never
X
been
is
that
still
hard
kind of
get a
difficult to get.
PS5.
Not always in
Nobody
stores.
wants a Series X. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you're right. Jesus Christ. Light us up in the YouTube comments. +1 engagement, easy.
Yeah, it's time.
Let me
to
ask you a
move on,
question. I
guys.
got a question for you.
What's up?
I've now done. I mean, I've done a couple of World of Warcraft expansions way back in the day. I didn't play too seriously, but specifically, I was around for the Shadowbringers and for the Endwalker expansion launches for Final Fantasy. And I had played in the time leading up for that, and like the off season between it, and I play it now. And one of my favorite things, and I don't know if you're gonna feel this in Destiny, and I want to find out if you kind of do feel it or not, because Destiny has a lot of like instancing, and although Final Fantasy does as well, Final Fantasy also really lets it fucking rip, where like you have situations where when you're playing in like the off season, if you will, just playing like normal Destiny, things will be like, you know, you'll go to like the town and there will be people there to interact with, and some servers are busier than others and stuff like that. But there is like this magic in MMOs where when the fucking expansion comes out, you got a little bit of a queue time to get in, you finally get in, the city is fucking packed wall to wall. You go to the new areas to get the starting quest, and there's 150 people standing around all doing the same quest and shit. And it's like this MMO magic that you really can't experience unless you're there for a launch of like an MMO. Like going and doing those same quests today that I did 6 months ago when it launched would be a completely different experience for somebody. You getting any of that magic?
Yeah, and there was a queue time to get in on the release. Overall, the servers held up pretty well. I'm surprised that they did that well. But the problem, I do think that raises a problem with Destiny is the hub world can only harbor like 20 people, 30 people at a time.
Yeah.
So there's a cap to how many people can be in the tower. So it does limit that social interaction to a certain
You want to
point.
guess how many people are in like a town in Final Fantasy, like a city?
It's a lot. I know that.
Yeah, I would say, I don't think it maxes out. It'll just stuff people in there and they'll kind of like instance and phase out depending on your radius to them and shit like that. But like, you could easily like teleport into a city and then sprint from one end of it to another and probably run by like 2,000 characters, realistically. So fucking cool.
That's nice. I wish there was something similar in Destiny. Like I mean, they're always like, if you're out in the open world, you're always going to run across people doing stuff, doing public events. But the social aspect does need to be improved. That's definitely one of the most lacking parts, which they're making strides. So they added commendations, you know, your favorite PlayStation commendation accolade thing from I guess originally it was from Overwatch, really. At the end of the match where you could give rewards to people. So they added that in this game. Yeah, and it's really nice, honestly, because it helps show how vetted you are within Destiny, because the more of those you get, either the more you play or the better you are. They have different commendations per activity, so you can see where they focus, if they're mainly Crucible players or if they're mainly Raiders or if they just run strikes like crazy.
That's cool.
And you gain an
like
overall level. Yeah, you gain an overall level, and then that kind of, whenever you're building a looking for group, you can select them based on that level. So it's nice to kind of like see people be vetted within the community. Yeah. And they're making really good strides. This update was great. They added loadouts. Finally, let's be honest, they should have been in the game at the launch of Destiny 1. They added, they completely revamped the mod system, which is really fun. Really modular. You get it? It's good.
Is this something?
Yeah, it's just I am so happy with Lightfall. People have their issues with it. I literally most of the problems I've found is there weren't enough questions answered, which I think is funny because the last expansion was the Witch Queen and she's the god of cunning or whatever. So literally all she did was introduce new questions. So when this expansion introduced new questions, they got pissed. So I've been running over all my lore books and going through all the wikis trying to piece things together, maybe find
Jesus
something
Christ.
that other people aren't piecing together. I'm so into it, dude. I'm so into it. I put probably 20 hours into this game since the release 3-4 days ago. I completed the campaign like
Longer than that. Was it like a week ago? Or was it Tuesday? Did it come out Tuesday?
It was the 28th when it came out.
Yeah, alright. So it's been about that. Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, so
Friday.
came out Tuesday, today's Friday. So I put about 20 hours in.
God of Cunting, am I right? Sorry, I've been sitting on that for like 30 seconds.
You know what? That's okay. I could see it. I could see it. It was gonna make you explode if you sat on it
Yeah. I needed to get that out. Coolest gun. Coolest new gun.
Oh, coolest new gun. Oh God. They have you know in Titanfall 2, the smart pistol at the end of Titanfall 2.
Oh yeah.
They introduced a pistol with that exact same ability. You don't even have to ADS. You just charge it up and it locks on and seeks out all the enemies.
Yeah,
it's really cool. Also, your camera's freaking out again.
Focus. I know, dude. Yeah. Don't say anything. It's fucking embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
No, I wanted to. It's hilarious.
Don't look at me.
I at the end of the day, this expansion was Infinity War, and the next one will be Endgame, I believe. And I don't know. It's made me more excited for the end of the Light and Dark saga than ever before. So it's really good. Please go play it, guys.
It's fun. It's fun when your favorite game gets more content, bro.
Yeah, I genuinely.
It's the best.
I'm glad I played it without listening to other people's opinions prior. It's great. I could just sit here and gush about it, but I think we should listen to.
I got one last question for you.
Yeah. I don't know. Give it to me.
Where's it rank?
Music. Where's it rank? Take a guess.
I edited your thing.
It's number one. This is 100% number one right now. It might drop throughout the year, not because I like it less, just because multiplayer games have a hard time staying high for me. I like to give credit to single player games because that's kind of like my thing. Mm-hmm. This is the only multiplayer game that I've stayed with persistently ever.
Yeah, I think an honorable finish, if I recall correctly, my 2020 Game of the Year list that we did, or my 2021 Game of the Year list that we did together, was the year that Endwalker came out. And I was thinking about it. There very well could be a Final Fantasy XIV expansion this year, but my guess is that it'll get delayed into early next year. Probably this time next year we'll be talking about the next Final Fantasy expansion. But
and the next Destiny expansion.
Nonetheless, it was Endwalker, which is basically our end game. Where it wrapped up a 5 expansion saga. Whatever's next is very different, and it's still, despite being the thing that I played the most last year and the thing that I probably have the fondest memories of in the long term, I'm with you on that single player thing. Where I think I ended up putting that game at 4th place overall on my Game of the Year. You know?
Yeah, and that's probably where Destiny will fall near the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. I think top 5 is very honorable for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
For a game like Destiny,
it's definitely recency bias right now.
8th year of existing. Our lists shift around. That's why we do this shit. That's why we have this podcast.
I will say,
so when other people are arguing, we're having the jolliest podcast of the year.
Listen to the soundtrack in this game. I have been blown away by video game music in the past couple weeks.
Dude. Okay, let's have a little aside. First off, just feel free to send me a Destiny track to play right now because I'm gonna play a song. Have you played Devil May Cry 5?
No, I haven't. I've always wanted to.
Okay. I mean, it's our podcast. No one's going to tell us the fucking rules. Let's talk about Devil May Cry 5, and let's talk about why I played Devil May Cry 5. You cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start off with music because we're on the subject. There is a fucking song. The title screen music for this game is so ridiculously banging, dude. I was absolutely blown away. Blown away. Blown away. You want to hear some?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to play it for you. We're going to fade it in, and I am going to transmit it to you very easily because I'm skilled with the internet and technology, of course. Can you hear it? Uh-huh. All right. I'm going to fucking... Oh. Ooh. Are you kidding me?
What?
What do you think?
I mean, pretty good.
Pretty impressive.
I will admit, Discord's kind of breaking half of it for me, but
Yeah. Yep. Ooh. Here we go. Wait, it's coming. Best part. Devil May Cry. You shouldn't have. You're going too hard. You're going too hard. That's called Devil Trigger, and that's the reason why we were DMCA struck and not profiting off of this video. We don't profit off any of the videos.
All right,
but
I'm gonna send you a song in a second to play.
All right, sounds good. The reason why I played Devil May Cry 5 is because there was a review embargo lifted for Final Fantasy XVI last week. Not a review embargo, a preview embargo. Did you catch up on any of this, dude?
Not really. I saw it come out. I saw where a bunch of people were invited. But honestly, I've been kind of in the mood recently to just not consume anything about the game until it comes out.
Well, that's a bad idea if you do a video game podcast.
Really bad for the podcast. But it made my Hogwarts experience so much better because I had no expectations for that game.
Sure.
And I'm gonna catch up, but
I get it. I am blown away by what I saw from Final Fantasy XVI. Let's listen to this track.
Skip to about 2 minutes. It takes a little while to get up to speed.
2 minutes. Okay.
I'm trying to give you the peak.
Ooh, this sounds like some Avengers shit. Superhero. This sounds like the end of Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's very orchestral, like
sure,
like superhero, like yeah. Very...
Can you hear it?
Right? Enough.
Yeah.
Surely it will sound better on the podcast. So.
Oh yeah. Podcast is loving it right now. Ooh, it's good.
Yeah, and I haven't even sat through and listened to the entire soundtrack outside of the game.
Yeah, that's a win. That's a win.
But
we're gonna give it to him.
It's the best music Destiny's ever had, for sure. But speaking of music, tell me about Theatrhythm.
Let's finish Devil May Cry 5 and let's talk about Final Fantasy 16. I mean, so I played Devil May Cry 5, and the reason why I played Devil May Cry 5 is when this preview embargo was lifted. It was basically a bunch of video game
designer from
the combat designer of Devil May Cry 5 is the
right.
combat designer for Final Fantasy 16, and apparently it plays very, very similarly. And I played Devil May Cry 5. It is the coolest, smoothest fucking combat system that's ever existed in an action game. The problem that I have with it is it's definitely way further on the action side of things than it is on the RPG side of things. I think there will be a little bit more of a balance in Final Fantasy 16. They also announced that there will be some, not quite like accessibility options, but like some things to make your life easier, some items that you can equip in the game that will make you like auto dodge or auto combo and things like that if you are looking for a more traditional Final Fantasy playing experience. But this is far from a turn-based battler, and let me tell you, Final Fantasy 16 is looking like an absolute banger, dude. I am so fucking excited for this game. It looks absolutely crazy. The demo included basically what seemed like about 30-35 minutes of storming like a castle, and it was you with a one NPC and your dog. The dog is always with you in the game, and you can control the dog's attacks by using the D-pad, attacks and moves and heals and things like that. And then it's you, the main character Clive, and you're with Sid, who is, I believe, the icon of Garuda. I don't know exactly how it works, but in this game, you are the individual that is representative or holds the power of the summons in typical Final Fantasy games. So, you know, Garuda, Ifrit, Bahamut, that whole thing, all of them are going to have a character that represents them in the game and then transforms into them in some way. And you exclusively control Clive in this game. You don't really have like traditional party members outside of your dog. The other guys are just going to kind of tag along. And you're in this castle. It leads to a couple battle things. You're searching for some treasure chests in the environment and whatnot. You end up having a final battle with a boss character in the traditional fighting sense, and then things escalate, and there is a playable section where you are doing essentially a gigantic kaiju fight with your summons, your icons, which looks very cool as well. I don't think it would be that fun to really dig into more intricacies. You're best off actually going and watching, hands-on from somebody who actually got to play it, as opposed to hearing a third-hand explanation of how the game plays and everything like that. But what I wanted to say is that, like, the thing that I heard is that if you want an idea of how Final Fantasy XVI is going to play, go check out Devil May Cry 5, which I did, and I was satisfied with. I only played it for about an hour, enough to kind of get a taste and have an idea of what was coming my way, but already from looking at the hands-on stuff for Final Fantasy XVI, and then playing Devil May Cry 5, even things like the camera angles and the graphical flares when you make contact with a sword, they all kind of scream the same thing, which is pretty cool. And it leads us to a excellent fucking segue into something that's popping up on my Game of the Year list, and something that I've been playing quite a bit lately.
Yeah. An excellent segue. I totally didn't ruin it at all earlier. When I got
No,
distracted.
nobody had any fucking idea what was happening. Welcome to Theatrhythm Final Bar Line, one of the coolest video games ever if you're a certain type of person like me. So, what Theatrhythm is it's a rhythm game. Think Guitar Hero is the best way to kind of explain it. You have notes that are flowing across or down a screen, and you are pressing inputs on the controller and the control sticks to mimic them and play to the beat. And what it does is it gives you a absolute insane amount of songs to play from the Final Fantasy games. It is something like, between all of the editions, 500 songs, all said and done, with DLC from other Square Enix games. Basically, any Square Enix game that you can think of that's not Dragon Quest, because Dragon Quest has its own Theatrhythm line, is going to pop up in this game. They just released stuff from the Saga series and Live Alive this week. Coming in the pipeline is Nier stuff from Nier and Nier Automata, which is going to be pretty cool. Yep, the Octopath series gets some love in there. The Chrono series, Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross will be in there as well. Some really, really good stuff. But the thing about this game is that you gotta be really into two things. You need to be super into rhythm games, you need to be super into Final Fantasy music. Lucky for me, I'm both of those things. If you, listening or watching at home, are both of those things, go check it out. In addition to playing the music, there's a bunch of stuff to kind of get you involved. If you're looking at the video version, if you watch like actual video of this game, if you watch like a preview or a trailer or something, you'll notice that more often than not, there are little characters represented on the bottom of the screen. So you create a party and you level up a character and you kind of build them like a loadout, and you get them to level up through the game. There's like a lot of bells and whistles that are making it a little bit more than just like pick the next song in Guitar Hero and have a good time with them. There is like overarching, not so much story, but progression in the game that's pretty well done and enjoyable to play. I don't have much else to say about it. It's unfortunate because it's such a simple concept and game that I think I did a great job of explaining exactly what it is and who would like it, and it just seems like unceremonious because it's my number 2 game of the year. Like,
so, well, I have a question.
Sure.
In the game, do you like, are the button presses like triangle, X, circle, square? Like you got to press the right button, or is it just press a button at the time?
So you have basically like 3 main forms of input, and it is a button press in any way. So I tend to use the triggers quite a bit. It just kind of feels kind of natural to go back and forth on the triggers.
Yeah.
But if you see like 4 your notes are kind of flowing through like 4 bars, if you will, but those bars are not indicative of where or like what you need to press. There's only ever going to be 2 at a time, so using the triggers always feels really good to me. And I was playing on the DualSense Edge, and having the triggers not have to pull down all the way, using those kind of like hairpin triggers that I could adjust, was really nice too. But it's basically either like a pull of the trigger or a hold of the trigger, or whatever, the button of your choosing, where you then have to take the control stick and copy the direction in which it's going. So it could be like, you grab it, the note starts going, you're holding through the note almost like you're playing like a Guitar Hero long hold strum, and your whammy bar, if you will, if you were playing Guitar Hero, is your control stick, and you're kind of guiding it up and down to flow with the song. Then the last thing that you would do is there's a lot of control stick taps, and those are the more I guess complex things, where it'll ask you to like tap up, tap down, tap left, up, right, down, in a pattern or something along those lines. Usually, definitely the most complex part of it, but not overwhelmingly so. And there's 4 difficulty levels, the whole 9 yards. It's all there, standard rhythm game fare.
Yeah, definitely not my thing, but
yeah, there's a
like
substantial
music,
demo, substantial demo available on all platforms.
Substantial demo. Maybe I'll check out the demo.
20 songs or so.
How's the DualSense Edge working out for you?
I'm loving it. I had some gripes with like the face buttons when I first got it, and I think I was just kind of being like, I don't know, you get a $200 piece of hardware and you're just like, I'm sitting here fucking with every little button on it, and I'm like, that button doesn't quite feel the way that the other buttons feel. Like being a little fucking gremlin about it, dude. I've had a good time with it. Noticeable difference in battery.
Noticeable difference in battery. One that I'm willing to sacrifice. I wish I didn't have to. But I was playing Destiny, like a long haul Destiny, and about halfway through the battery dies, and I change over to my old DualSense, and it feels
disgusting.
cheap. It feels cheap after handling this heavier, better build. And then I'm lost. I don't know how to play the game without my back buttons. Like I'm just screwing everything up. Yeah. So I crack out the cable because I can't go without it.
Yeah, it's so funny, dude. I'm waiting on an Amazon order tomorrow for a fucking like 9-foot braided cable. Like,
dude, have you tried the braided cable in the
cocksucker! I forgot that there's one in there.
There's already one in there, and it's quite long too. I think it's
it clicks in.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
You have the locking mechanism that you can use if you want to. You don't have to, but
I'm so stupid.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. An extra cable's never going to go to waste. You're always
it's USB to USB-C. We're going to be able to make it work.
Yeah, you'll make it work somewhere. But I feel lost without this controller now. And if they release a black one, I'll buy it too. I'll have to.
No, I'm cool with the white one forever. The only thing that they could change is if they did like the thing that you were talking about, where like they had like a blue casing for the bottom of it.
Oh yeah, change out the flip off casing.
I would like it if it faded to black, because it does work its way into a non-removable black piece or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I'm sure
I have like the little controller charger right here beside me at all times. So what I used to do is just when one dies, hot swap it.
I should get one of those charging docks too. I was thinking about that. Like, I've got a pretty over here is the battle station. Like, if you're just a podcast listener and you don't watch me stream, I've got 3 monitor setups, and I've got shit mounted all over the place. I've got on this side I've got a pegboard, and on this side I've got almost like a server rack type of situation that has my consoles and my PC on it, and then mounted to the side of the server rack is little controller mounts. So I'm looking at, I got my DualSense, I've got my Switch Pro controller, I've got my Xbox One controller, and I've got a 360 controller, all just boom, 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 mounted here that I can grab at the as needed. And I would love to swap those out for I don't know, I would have to find something that could vertically mount, but if I could swap those into all charging stations and just have it at the touch of at the same ease of grabability here, and they were always fully charged and never had to be plugged in, it would be a fucking dream come true.
Yeah, I legit have mine on my charging station sitting on top of my PC at all
Sick.
times.
Yeah.
And
DualSense, dude.
I just hot swap and it's great. But now I need
I'm
2
loving
of
it.
the edges to hot swap the edges. First world problems, bro. First world problems.
Yeah, truly. You need $40 worth of controllers so that you don't have to be minorly inconvenienced.
I know. Dude, I'm thinking about I'm literally thinking about which I mean soon enough I'll have a pharmacist salary, so I'll be able to do whatever I want.
Yeah, there you go.
But
You can grab me one.
I'm thinking about buying a second PS5 just to have in my living room whenever I want to play PS5 in there, and just like upload cloud saves.
And you guys can't find a single PS5. Get fucked, commenters.
So I don't have to unplug the PlayStation and take it in there. I don't want to have to do that. I barely ever play in there, so I probably
so
won't.
Fucking funny.
Yeah.
Too good.
That's the dream.
All right. Speaking of Square Enix music.
Yeah. Speaking of playing games on my PS5,
yeah.
yes, I bought Octopath 2 on PS5.
Dude, I watched you break on stream where you
did.
were like, I want to go check out Octopath. Like 4 minutes later, you were downloading Octopath and skipping frames on stream so you could play it. And dude, I think you sold me on it. Like, not right now, but Octopath 2 is heavily on my radar. Tell the people.
It is just like the first one, but at least a little bit better in every way.
Yeah, that's
so
what
if
it
you
seems
enjoyed
like,
the
dude.
first one, you'll really like this one. If you almost like the first one, I can almost guarantee you will like this one. It changes. It adds some gameplay things, new combat abilities. There you can change the time of day in this game, and based on the time of day, your characters have different social abilities, like like mugging people or investigating.
I was about to say, just like me. In the daytime, I don't want to do shit, and at nighttime, I want to do everything.
He goes out and mugs people.
That's not what I do.
But no, the music is wonderful.
My everything is drugs and sex. I'm just kidding.
This is why we have a +18 rating on this podcast. Because
do we really?
People can't listen to it around their children because they're gonna have Jake have an outburst during the middle of them.
More like the god of cunt, whatever the fuck my joke was.
Oh gosh. But I can't. I've lost my train of thought. I'm 3 characters in. I've collected the 3rd character now. Each first chapter is like an hour and a half long. And every single intro story has been more. They've had better hooks so far. I'm more hooked on these characters than I was on the characters in the first game. It should be noted I never finished the first game because it kind of fell off. I got kind of bored. The characters don't really interact in the first game.
Also worth
in this
noting,
game, they do.
No connection to the first game. This is like basically a spiritual successor.
It's
you don't need to play the first game. Yes, Final Fantasy. Great job.
Yeah, it's a new world, new characters, but similar, like almost
gameplay.
Very similar gameplay.
There's Moogles and Chocobos and a guy named Sid.
Yeah, it is beautiful. It looks so good. It looks better than the first one. The first one at times was kind of gray or kind of like brown.
Oh, dude, the whole game was beige. I was so sick of it.
Yeah,
I tried to start it with 2 different characters, and both times I was like, "Oh my fucking god, I can't."
Very beige.
I can't talk to this dude I don't care about in this library for another fucking second. Like, I need to leave this.
This one's much more colorful, which I think is great. You can even tell just from the box art, it's more colorful. They've added more color, a more artistic style, and it's Octopath but better in every way.
Yeah, and I mean, credit where credit's due. These guys are like, Octopath pioneered 2D HD. Yeah, 2D HD 2D.
Yeah. And now we've got a Dragon Quest thing.
That Dragon Quest better show up, bro. Where the fuck is Dragon Quest? Dragon Quest, like 18 months ago, maybe I'm exaggerating, I don't know the exact date, had a Dragon Quest like presents thing that was like translated from Japanese, that was live streamed, where they announced like Dragon Quest 3 2D HD 2D and Dragon Quest 12, and we haven't heard dick from them since then.
Do you remember the oh goodness, do you remember the Dragon's Dogma presentation thing?
Yeah, dude, the one that was like, shit, we need to announce Dragon's Dogma. What do we get?
Yeah.
I don't know, fucking t-shirts?
Yeah, literally, it was, that was something.
Yeah, Dragon Dogma 2 announced. Cool. Thanks.
Speaking, this is a little later in the show, but there's an upcoming Capcom presentation.
Yeah, there is.
They didn't add Pragmata to that. I think Pragmata might be dead.
Dude, they haven't added Pragmata in like
Pragmata originally had a
years.
2023 release date.
Pragmata is not coming out in 2023. Pragmata will be lucky to see in 2024, and to be quite fucking frank, we'll be lucky to see it ever.
I just don't know if it's real, if it's a thing anymore. We haven't
no,
heard
it's starting
a
to look a lot.
word
It's starting to look like fucking vaporware is what it's starting to look like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Live Alive.
So
Live Alive is HD 2D as well.
Yeah, Live Alive, Triangle Strategy. There's one that was kickstarted. I don't remember.
They'll refuse to make one with a good name. Just wait.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. Is that it? Is that all you got for Octopath?
Yeah,
you haven't put much time into it, right?
I've put like 5 hours into it.
Okay. Did you complete a story yet?
Well, it's not that simple. It's
Understood.
You have to go around and grab all 8 people to level up. So like you do your first chapter for each character. You do your first chapter for one character, and then you take that character to the next one, and then you do their first chapter, and then you take them to the next one, they do their first chapter.
So does the character that you chose first tag along in the second person's thing?
Well, they each have their own individual chapter 1 story, and then they like meet up at the end of their chapter 1, and then as you progress their stories.
So then once everybody is done with their chapter 1, got it.
Yeah. Once they're done with their chapter 1, they're all in the party. But
which is kind of what Live Alive does. Light spoilers for Live Alive. They all have their own story, if you will. It's not like a chapter, but it's like its own little like 4 or 5 hour thing that ends. And then once you're at like chapter 7 stars all of them together instead of just one of them.
So you go collect them, but the thing is you need to continue to collect them because say the first person that you pick up, their level is 4 when you finish their first chapter. Their chapter 2 is level 23 recommended. So you have to grind up those levels. So I've gone and collected 2 other people, and she's just now level 8 or something. So by the time I go collect all 8 people, she'll be level 23, and then I'll go to her chapter 2, and you just keep on kind of circling around, do a chapter of each person's as you go.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I mean, I think that this is like the kind of game that I just pick up in like the middle of June when I'm like, got nothing to play for 2 weeks. I need an RPG. I'm gonna sink fucking 60 hours into. That's the kind of thing that I would grab.
Well, yeah, and I know we're both not huge Jason Schreier fans, but he said
Jason Schreier, friend of the show.
Yeah, he's had nothing but bad things. He's had nothing but good things to say about this game. And recently he called it the Elden Ring of JRPGs. Yeah, and he said it's possibly one of the best JRPGs ever made. Also, should we continue to use JRPG? Have you heard the Yoshi P interview where he said that back in the early 2000s, they didn't like their games being called JRPGs because they thought it was derogatory. That they just wanted
I
to be
heard about this.
RPGs.
I think that it is a little bit weird to like refer to a video game as its like nationality. Like
I think it's just so easy to like. If you say JRPG, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that in my head, it's more like referring to a genre of video games where I feel like he could be like pigeonholed and felt in a certain way, like as hearing things, it's like, oh, it's another JRPG. It might be something with like translation too, like a lot of things could be lost in translation. I think that we should continue to use the term. I think it defines
I think
like a certain thing that you come to expect from a Japanese RPG. Japanese role-playing game is like a party-based system with more traditional mechanics than a Western RPG. I don't know if that's, obviously those constructs are a little looser than they once were. I mean, look at Final Fantasy 16 versus Final Fantasy 7, to call those,
and like
they're RPGs in the long run, but I don't think any of us have actually called Final Fantasy 16 a JRPG because it honestly doesn't feel like a traditional JRPG. When you see JRPG, I think Octopath 2 before I think Final Fantasy 16.
Oh,
and I think that it's like, I think JRPG just now is kind of synonymous with like a very traditional like RPG game. and I think that
Yeah, and
we
it's
can
almost like Sea of Stars. I would honestly kind of
continue
call
to
that
use it.
JRPG.
And I hope this ages well, and in 20 years, people are like, "Oh God, no, you don't say JRPG."
Cancel him. I would call Sea of Stars a JRPG, even though it's
Without a doubt.
not a JRPG. So
I agree. Yeah. See, that's why it stays. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
TRPG, traditional RPG. Turn TBRPG.
Isn't? No.
Tactic RPG? Is that what you're thinking?
Tree PG. I don't know. Yeah, TRPG is like tactics.
TRPG is, I think, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Beats
Neither here
me.
nor there. Anyway, I played Wild Hearts.
Good, bad.
It's good. It seems really good. I just don't know. I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a bad segment, and I'm not going to spend very much time on it because I'm like woefully uninformed on the genre and the differences between them. It really felt like the best Monster Hunter that you could possibly ask for right now. It seems like it was better than Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter's in a weird place right now because Monster Hunter exists. So Wild Hearts is published by EA. Published only, not developed. It's developed by Koei Tecmo, and it's the first time that they've really operated on the EA Originals banner with like a pretty big budget. And what they did was they made the first Monster Hunter-like, arguably, first big budget Monster Hunter-like. There's like Dauntless is out there and shit like that too. But it feels so much like Monster Hunter, and it kind of struck at the right time where I wonder how much replayability and content there is for Monster Hunter fans right now, because Monster Hunter is in a strange spot. Monster Hunter, the series proper, is at Monster Hunter World. But at this point, I think that game came out in 2016 and then had like a 2018 expansion. So even the expansion, Iceborne, is still pushing 5 years old. Then Monster Hunter Rise came out, but Monster Hunter Rise was developed as kind of like a bit of a side story, bit of a spin-off kind of, where it's developed for the Nintendo Switch, and even though there's now next-gen ports of it and it's available on PC, it's still a Switch game at its core, and it doesn't look as good as even Monster Hunter World does. So there's still Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak came up not long ago, and I believe we're probably gonna get a second expansion announced for it very soon as well. It seems like we'll find out this coming Thursday, I believe, March 9th. There's an event that has Monster Hunter Rise in it. More on that later. But Wild Hearts seems like the next iteration of Monster Hunter, where if you're really big into this series, this seems like the thing to play. It seemed competent, it seemed pretty, it's got some weird graphical flares to it from time to time, but for the most part, it looks a lot better than any Monster Hunter that I've played looks. And I've played a little bit of Rise, I've played a little bit of Worlds, and it's got some really unique stuff going. The biggest difference, if you're watching the video version right now, you've probably already seen it pop up. It's got a little bit of like
Fortnite.
It's got a little bit of a Fortnite thing going, where you can use elements and materials in the world to build. You can build walls and things to jump off of, and you've got a little bit more like acrobatics that you can perform. It's very interesting. It's a deep game. The thing that I got into with this game is I got far enough into it to realize there's too much here for me. And
that's kind of what where I'm at. Like, I decided, like, I was excited about this before it came out, and then it came out, and I was like, oh, that's too much like Monster Hunter. I wanted something more casual.
And you and I are in very similar boats now, where you have Destiny, and Destiny might be a little bit lighter, arguably, than Final Fantasy is. Final Fantasy eats up my ability to be invested in any of these other games that really want you to, like, if the game wants me to learn how to harvest materials and cook up things that give me temporary buffs to my weapons and have weaknesses and advantages, my mind kind of becomes mush because I'm already doing that in one game. You know what I mean? It's like that slot is filled in my brain, and that's the problem that I've had when I tried to get into both the Monster Hunters as well. And I was like, I'd have to really pick one or the other to really give this the ample time that it deserves to get into it. So that's pretty much where I land on Wild Hearts. I think if that sounds like something that you could be interested in, it's worth a try. It's on Game Pass, which is really nice. Sorry, it's not on Game Pass, but it's an EA game. So with Game Pass Ultimate, you have EA Play, which includes a trial of Wild Hearts for 7 hours. That's how I experienced it. And then, you can do what I did, and what I'll do for like Jedi Survivor, for example, is EA Play Pro is $15 for a month. And it has day and date releases for all the EA games. So if you're looking for like a single player experience or just to kind of like demo something out, if the trial doesn't do it for you in the 7 hours and the early access doesn't do it for you, buy EA Play Pro for a month and just play the entire fucking game and then be done with it. That's what I did with like Need for Speed Unbound. Instead of spending $70, I did 1 month of EA Play Pro for $15, beat the game, put in 30 hours, and then never touched it again. I'm gonna do that again with Star Wars in a month or two. Fuck it. Fuck it. Hacks, baby.
No, I'll be buying Star Wars.
Yeah, whatever.
So excited.
I could go buy. How much do you think I can go buy Jedi Fallen Order for right now?
15,
probably,
20 bucks.
Yeah, I would say probably like $7 on disc for like the last generation or something like that.
No, it's more than that.
Maybe. But if you take that price and add it to the $15 I could spend for it right now,
you're at a date with your physical purchase knowledge.
Winning. Okay, you are correct about that.
Yeah.
We both played Atomic Heart.
Speaking of a game that's out of date,
What a weird video game, bro.
It's so weird.
You beat it?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Uh-huh. And I don't know if I like it or dislike it. I'm still asking myself, did I like that game or did I dislike it? I have it right here beside me. Hold on, like this. Boop. Atomic Heart. I paid $70 for this thing.
Oh my god, you bought it. It's so messy, dude. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, I don't care about Game Pass. I canceled my Game Pass.
What a weird game.
Russian wants to be BioShock.
Wants to be BioShock so bad. First person shooter. It's like a B game. Like it's this thing was like, it's this Unreal 4 fodder is what this game is, where it like presents itself as being like a big budget game because of how good the tools that Unreal gives you are. And because of that, you go in sort of expecting one thing and you get another. The thing that this game did to me is that the trailers and the opening half hour of this game are very, very good.
Really strong.
It sends huge BioShock alternate reality vibes where you're in like a Russian setting with all sorts of weird flying technology and a lot of like lore and story being dropped on you. And it just ends up being a very, very cool opening, I don't know, 40 minutes or so, where there's just so much is happening. And so much of what you're seeing is not endearing, but it's engaging, design, dude. Yeah.
Like the world and environment design, phenomenal. Like the art direction for this game, stellar. I mean,
for the opening half hour.
Well, for most of the game.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you played more of it, but here's what it did to me, is that this initial 40 minutes ends, right? And you end up in a situation where, the robots are bad now. The friendly robots from the whole game are bad now. And they dump you into what I would describe as the most unappealing, generic video game environment that they could possibly dump you into. So the first time that you're actually playing this game, you are dumped into a burning building. You know what I mean? Like a burning, like rubble everywhere with multiple floors and like shit going wrong in the building. And you're not there for like a small amount of time. It's like
you're there for like 3 to 4 hours.
Okay, so it's I was there for 2.5 hours and I quit the game and I said I'm not fucking doing this anymore. It is like, I'm talking reused assets, rooms that look like the last room that you were in, puzzles that are being already recycled.
Like a giant facility with the same thing over and over and over.
Oh my god!
It does get different. It does get different, but
and from the trailers and from the gameplay that I've seen, it does look like it does change from time to time. Yeah, but for the most part, I was like, I fucking can't right now, dude.
They take what they have and they stretch it out like 50 to 100% too long. Like if every environment you were in about half the time that you're actually there, it would have been so much better. I will say, like, I beat the game. I'll tell you how the game goes, okay?
No spoilers.
Not spoilers, but gameplay spoilers, but no story spoilers. Sure. You start the game. You have your little intro. Great intro. Hot robot ballerinas. Heck yeah. I'm into that. Okay. Don't shake your head like you're not in that. Mr. Tifa.
More like goddess of cunty.
Both of them are still in video games. Anyways, you get dropped into the facility. Oh no, things are going wrong. We have to fix it. Let's get to the surface. You get to the surface. The most uninteresting, unrewarding open world you will ever experience. You go somewhere else. You go into another facility. You come back out to the open world to go to another facility, to come back out, to go to another facility, to end the game. Like, if they cut out the open world entirely and cut the facilities in half, each of them in half, and cut the price of the game by $30, it would have been like a 10 for me personally, because the story, like the story that they built in this and the lore that they built, I love it. It's so cool. It's really weird. I love weird things. Like, I feel like I've made it pretty clear on here. I just like weird things.
Know.
Yeah. And it's so cool. The combat at times is a little bit, but the story and the setting is so good. I will say the main protagonist is so annoying. It's so annoying, but there is story reasons why he's so annoying and so weird. I just want to love this game so much. I want to love it, but there's some things that I'm just like, why?
Yeah,
the open world, they have these other facilities that you can go into to get upgrades, but all it is just some boring puzzles.
Yeah, the puzzles were so weird, dude. There were like 3 different puzzles. Like good, there was puzzle variety for sure, but each one of them, despite being unique, was like, shit, I would rather do the same lockpicking I've done in games. Like, you tried, you know, you swung for the fences, you did some weird puzzle, but God, is that not it for me?
Yeah, and it does weird things. It's like I said, this was developed by a Russian studio, and like I've said, it's like the game feels foreign. Like, of course it is foreign. It was developed by a foreign studio, but like, this game presents an alternate history Russia, right? It also asks the question of an alternate history game development of, games are developed like this today and they play like this and you like that. But what if they were developed like this? And what if this is the kind of game that comes out today? It just feels weird. Like, the alternate history feels weird. This game feels weird. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
I would not recommend purchasing it.
Now, this one is on Game Pass. Like, actually, all the way on Game Pass.
Go play it on Game Pass. Don't buy it. But I think it's worth experiencing. It's also hard. It's a hard game. Like, even on normal. I played it on normal. Like, the first 30 minutes to an hour.
Man, there were things that irked me so bad. There was like this fucking big ass hole at the very beginning of that level where I guess I could have listened probably to dialogue that would have told me to not go in the hole, but this hole looked so inviting to jump down. And you're in like these like corridors and rooms that all look the same. You're trying to navigate to the next point, and you don't have like a good waypoint of where you're supposed to go.
There's no good waypoint,
and you're just like, I'm spinning in fucking circles, going, is this that same room? This is where I fucking started. How did I get back here? I turn around and I look in this hole, and I'm like, I'm positive I have to go into this hole. Like, to me, as like a gamer, my gamer's intuition is saying like the answer is we go down the floor by jumping in the fucking hole. I jump into the hole, and it fucking kills me. And then not only does it kill me, but it sets me back like 9 minutes, dude, to the last checkpoint.
Last save point.
I was fucking mortified. I was mortified with like the game design. Oh, yeah. God. I'm getting fired up thinking about it. Do you have anything else to say about Atomic Heart?
I want to see a sequel.
You're a fucking monster, bro.
I don't understand my emotions towards this game.
You played Anthem.
Yeah, that was a bad game. I want to see a sequel where they improve on the things that were bad, and then I think it would be a great game.
You think it'll
the
get
story,
a sequel?
The setting, amazing. The ending, really cool. Not what you would expect.
Do you think it'll get a sequel? Is the guy a robot? Blink twice if the guy's a robot.
I think it will probably. Well, he's kind of a robot.
yeah.
But not entirely.
Sure. You kind of get that.
I think it will.
Get that vibe.
Let's be honest.
Right?
This game was
robot clone of another guy. There we go. I think I'm onto it.
This game was partially funded by the Russian government.
No shit.
Yeah. So maybe
that's weird.
All I'm saying is, if it's Russian propaganda, the mommy ballerinas, if they're Russian propaganda,
doing it for you.
Sign me up. That'll do it. That's all it takes.
Fucked up. This is the podcast that gets us canceled. Between this and JRPGs.
Oh god. It is what it is.
Shit. So I've been playing Wolong Fallen Dynasty. Which is weird. I've had like
whoa.
Nice. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Very good. Very good Wolong bit. And I didn't play it for a very long time.
Whoa.
I think you would like this game though. I think you would like it a lot.
Yeah, probably. I think I actually would. There's just so much to play right now.
Yeah, I get it. I think this is like more your thing though. From what I understand, this is more like Neo. I feel like my last impressions are going to be better than my now impressions of it. Like I played more of the demo than I did of the full game, and then there's a new demo that you can play only for another couple days that you can grab on pretty much all consoles right now, where it's one of those like first few hour type demos where you can play like the intro and the prologue and everything and then carry over your save if you so desire to buy it, which is pretty cool. I played that demo. I got to the first boss. I struggled terribly on the first boss. I said now is not the time for me to play this game, and I quit. But it is a fun, fast game that is, I think, technically in like the Souls-like genre. It is tough combat. It's fast combat though. It has it feels a little more hacky and slashy. I'm sure you can be more methodical if you try to be, but it's got more speed to it than I think the traditional like Souls genre typically has, which is interesting. And I know it's created by the people that make Neo. Go ahead.
Speaking of, so it's Team Ninja.
Yeah, so it's Neo 1 and 2, and then it's got a lot of like that DNA that you see in what's the game, Stranger of Paradise, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, same team.
Yeah.
This has, I want to say this has Koei Tecmo co-developing this.
I believe so.
Or supporting this as well.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I want to play this. I was not a huge Neo fan. I fell off Neo. This is honestly their best looking game to date.
It looks awesome. It's really
like,
cool.
Most of their games look like booty, like real bad. Neo's I thought looked terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then Stranger of Paradise looked just abysmal. But this looks really good. Which, curious, you're also playing Demon Souls. I know I'm skipping ahead a little bit. Compare the two for me. Tell me how one's going versus the other.
Demon Souls feels like, when I'm actually in the combat from Demon Souls, I think it's just like the speed of the combat is what feels more fair to me. Like, it's slow enough that, like, I don't know, when I die in Demon Souls, it always just feels like it's my fault, you know?
Yeah.
And that goes a long way for me to, like, first of all, to not blame the game is huge for me. not something I typically do.
It is. Yeah.
I am loving Demon Souls. So my idea was like, I only played Elden Ring with you. Obviously, if you follow the podcast, you know how I feel about Elden Ring. It was my first Souls game, and I want to just kind of like go through them all. I think like I'm getting that itch again, and I started with Demon Souls, and I think that maybe I should have started with Dark Souls because Demon Souls is super unforgiving, dude. Like it looks so good on PlayStation 5. I'm having such a good time playing it for sure, but learning how to play like a super challenging Souls game where I can't just like run around and over level myself like Elden Ring. Like in Elden Ring, if you have a problem, there's 1,000 different things that you can go do to solve that problem to power yourself up and get by it. Whereas like Demon Souls, I have found myself definitely ramming my head into things and then finding myself in situations. The biggest problem that I'm having in Demon Souls is the lack of flasks. In flasks, like I can get myself to a boss and all I have to do is just go fight that boss over and over and use my flasks efficiently, and every time I reset I'm good to go. In Demon Souls you don't have flasks. All you have is consumable heals, which don't carry over. So if you use the consumable and then die, those consumables are gone forever. So it's created a lot of like, I failed this boss 6 times, I have no heals left, I'm thinking about using my heals, and because of that I am not using them as I'm using them more judiciously, basically, than I should be. I should be just going to town. And then it's resulting in me having to, like, well, time to go farm fucking heals so I can go buy this again. So I have to go backtrack and do a bunch of healing, and it's kind of a bit of a pain in the ass to learn Souls again on.
It's a very
unforgiving.
Unforgiving, unforgiving is good, but it's also like, in this game, the bonfires are further apart than in any other Souls game.
That's the other thing, dude, is like I was so unprepared for what I was getting into with this.
A long way away from each other.
You only actually get them, I believe, when you beat a boss. Is that true?
I don't remember.
I think it's only when you beat a boss. That's all I've seen so far. I mean, obviously the game looks incredible. It's a feast for the eyes. I'm playing the Blue Point remake of
It's still one of the best looking games on PS5.
It's like one of 3 PlayStation 5 exclusive games. It's like that, Ratchet and Clank, and like Returnal, and as far as like a couple days ago went, and now Returnal's out on PC. But I mean,
you're forgetting Destruction All Stars, like always.
I keep on forgetting Destruction All Stars. I'm so stupid. How could I forget that game?
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, I mean, overall, I'm fucking loving it, no doubt, and it's super fun. And you get that same rush where like I feel better when I beat a single boss in Demon Souls than I do when I beat an entire game most of the time and roll credits on like Zelda or something like that.
Yeah, and like the grinding in the Souls days before Elden Ring was rest at a bonfire, wipe out all the enemies in a certain area, rest again, and just repeat, level up, do it again. So there's ways to grind. It's just less fun than it is in Elden Ring.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely like, I don't know, there is something nice about like the rhythm to these bonfires too, where like you start off very straightforward. You start off in like the castle, you're running up like towards the main gate, and that gate is blocked, so you can try to go right, but that right door is blocked too, so you go left and you go all the way around, and you scale a tower. Then when you're up there, one of the routes that it gives you is to descend that same tower that you just went the long way around and unlock a door. Now you can go and skip that huge wraparound that you did, and you've got your first like shortcut, if you will, up to those like castle ramparts on the top. Same thing happens if you die, you spawn back there. Now you can go up that straight shot corridor to the ramparts, across the way, down to the right path that you can now unlock as well. When you unlock that one, you now have your full loop unlocked. You have both shortcuts unlocked, and you have the path to the main boss. So it like for the first game that came out in this series, masterful level design.
Absolutely, and people hated on it back then.
Oh, I can only imagine. I'm really digging it. And it's such
I'm still in the camp. Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, go ahead.
I'm still in the camp that Dark Souls 3 is the best Souls game, even better than Elden Ring.
A lot of people agree. I think, from what I understand with the Souls games, is like Elden Ring, I think, is the outlier. Obviously, a lot of people think that is the best one now. But with the Dark Souls series in particular, I think that there's like a large camp of people that think it's 3 or 1, most of them, and then for a bunch of people, they either hate or love 2. Are you a hate or love
2?
I
like 2. I'm in the middle. It was good,
rare.
But it wasn't rare. It wasn't a 1 or 3.
Right.
It was different. I liked the fact that it was different than the others. It makes some interesting changes that's none of the others do. So
yeah, that's fair.
It was the little weirdo. It's like the redheaded stepchild of the Soul series.
Great.
Weird but good.
Understood. We are probably going to refocus on Demon Souls, maybe like just talk about it every month and see like where I'm at. Like I'll just give you kind of the update.
Sure.
Right now I have defeated the second boss technically. I mean it's maybe like the third, but the first one was like a scripted death. I beat the spider. Yeah. And I didn't have a hard time. I had a summon that kind of helped me through that whole area, which was really nice. The first boss was a lot of fucking grinding, that's for sure. But really digging it, and super invested in that adventure, and really good community behind the Souls games. Like, if you're checking out our YouTube, youtube.com/@JakeTwitchin, my YouTube, yours is @Kaulin _KAULINE. But I'm posting my VODs on YouTube, and they're far and away my most popular VODs that I ever post. In my shorts, I'm doing like a series of them, where I'm doing like a montage of all my deaths and the experience that I have for each of the bosses. So I just posted my, second boss experience, and let me tell you, shit goes hard, and the engagement on them and the people that comment that are like, welcome to the franchise, you're gonna have a fucking hell of a time, like it's really cool to see. So worth checking out if you're into the Souls series. Really, really fun stuff. But let's there's no fucking good transition here. Did you check out Sons of the Forest? I'm so terrified of this game every time I see like gameplay or a clip.
It's not scary. It's
wait, I have a question. You posted a clip that scared me the other day, bro, and I don't think it was from this game. It was from something. I don't know what game it was. It was like you were reading something and then like this giant woman popped up out of nowhere, like so big.
Yeah, that's called Bramble the Mountain King.
Oh
Bramble
yeah,
the
I've
Mountain
heard
King.
of that.
It kind of looks like almost looks like Little Nightmares, but in the woods.
I guess so. I don't know. It fucking terrified me.
Oh yeah. So I mean, yeah. That game comes out soon. That was a demo from it.
Got it.
It's very similar to Little Nightmares.
Understood.
Yeah, but Sons of the Forest is great, man. It's a great like community game if you want to play a game with your community. It's a survival building game. You're dropped into a forest with these weird mutant type things. You're on the search for people that have gone missing. You get to build bases, chop down trees, go fishing. This game is the sequel to The Forest. Yeah, which was it's a super fun survival game. It's probably one of my favorite survival games. I'm not a big survival game guy. I don't normally like the loop of building and crafting and whatnot. Like I like Minecraft and I like The Forest, but I can't get into things like Grounded. I know you really enjoyed Valheim. I played a little bit of Valheim. But The Forest is great. It's imagine that, but the kind of scary, creepy version of it. These mutant things come and attack you. You have to go search caves. I don't think it would be too scary for you if you got into it. There's not really any jump scares or anything. It's just a vibe, a creepy vibe in the caves. But once you go through one cave, you kind of know what to expect from others. There are weird monsters and stuff, but this game, if you know what The Forest is, this game just takes it's in early access right now. That should be mentioned, only on Steam. It takes all the aspects from the original Forest and just improves on them just a little bit. The cool thing about this one is they added some AI characters that you can interact with. So you have one
like NPCs.
Yeah, kind of. The one that you start with is Kelvin. So his eardrums are burst, so he can't talk. He can't hear you. So you have to write on a little notepad to tell him what to do, and you can give him commands like go gather logs, go get fish, and that kind of takes away a little bit of the resource collection grind, and lets you focus on different things. So you can go have him collecting logs as you're exploring a cave, and when you come back, he'll have a mountain of logs for you to use to build with. And then there's also Virginia, who's one of the people that you're looking for. She has 3 arms and 3 legs. I don't know why. She was a normal person at one time, but she's kind of timid. And if you're nice to her, she'll come up and kind of like interact with you a little bit. And then at a certain point, you can kind of invite her into your settlement, and she'll warn you about things or lead you to good loot. But nobody verbally communicates with you in this game.
Weird.
It's a really...
It all seems unsettling and creepy to me. I could never play it.
It is unsettling.
I can't even look at this
times,
thumbnail very often.
You would get used to it. You should definitely. I will buy this for you if you played it with me one day.
I would never do that.
I was playing it with my community the other night. We had a great time with it.
Nice.
It's going to continue in the future as
Twitch.tv/Kaulin_.
Yeah, come play with me. It's fun.
Nice. I've been playing. Well, I played. There's not that much to play of it, if I'm being quite honest. But I checked out Humanity, which more on the event that it came from. It was re-announced at a State of Play. This game has actually been in development for like 3 years. It's from Enhance, who are the people that did Res HD, a port of the original Res for the PS2, which shipped with a vibrator if you bought the right version. And not a joke, look it up. Oh no, you heard right. There's no need for further elaboration.
Like the vibrator that I'm thinking about, or like a...
It's like a patch, but you know, you could use it however you please. Whichever way you like to think about. Yeah. Oh, it's that. And then they also did Tetris Effect as their most notable and recent work. But they announced this game like 3 years ago at a State of Play, and it's been absolutely quiet since then. And it was kind of re-revealed at this most recent State of Play with a demo available right off the bat. And Humanity is this really weird puzzle game where you are a little dog, a Shiba Inu, and you are guiding around groups of humans to accomplish to get them to like a goal basically. And you do that by like barking and sending them in different directions with different commands where they can jump or get carried by wind, and they're picking up like objects, and they are just trying to get from point A to point B by maneuvering around the area. Really fun, very simple kind of thing. A lot of people in my chat were talking about how it's basically Lemmings, which is kind of true, but kind of takes it to the next level. Demo is free. Demo has, I think, 9 or 10 levels, but then it has something very cool, which is a community editor where people can make their own levels, and some of the stuff that people are creating is an absolute mind-blowing scenario where it adds so much replayability to the game. It's honestly kind of hard to verbalize and explain. I'd recommend watching a trailer for Humanity and seeing if it's up your alley. It is definitely a puzzle game. It has the same thing that Rez and Tetris have, where it's got a little bit of like a thumping beat to every level that kind of accelerates. Like there is like a musical element to the game that's really interesting as well. Super fun, super unique, and truly like one of the more enjoyable like shadow dropped experiences that I've had in recent memory. And that's, you know, standing up there with Hi-Fi Rush and Metroid, which are on my Game of the Year list. So this game is definitely like on my radar to actually pick up. It's also notable that it's a PS5 and PSVR exclusive experience. It's not a PS4 game, I don't believe, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, PSVR and PS5 Humanity, developed by Enhanced, published by THA, I believe. I don't remember. Pretty cool though. I really dig Humanity. Are you frozen, or are you mind blown that Rez came with a vibrator?
I'm reading an article about it.
Wild, right?
I
wasn't lying, was I?
Well, it was slightly misleading, but
sure.
In the end of the day, no.
Yeah, I know.
Wired has a really good article called "Rez's Trance Vibrator Changed the Conversation About Women's Sexuality in Games."
Yeah, dude. It was wild. There was like, I remember like, it was a long time ago. Rez for PS2 and that trance vibrator was like early 2000s. Yeah. And I remember like, don't do the math. I was a young lad, and I was certainly not completely fluent in all pleasures, if you will. And the idea of that and some of the stuff that I read on the internet about the Rez trance vibrator was informative. Wild times, bro. Wild fucking times.
All I'm saying is they should have made one for us too, so I could.
All I'm saying is pick up Rez, bro. Have you ever played Rez? It's really cool.
I think I checked it out one time.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Rez HD is and it's a nice game. Ages like fucking sweet, fine wine. Really nice. Dude, let's get into the last time we talked about this game. I was deep into it, and you were just scratching the surface.
I was
and
just
now
starting.
We've both rolled credits. You've 100%ed it.
100% it, and you have just finished it.
I finished it. Yeah, I adore it. It's my game of the year. It's no longer your game of the year, but it's for me. I love it. It was my game of the year
until like a day ago, and it very well could move back up.
Yeah, I get it. No spoilers in this conversation.
No spoilers.
It's a game that is definitely like a story-driven experience, despite being like a third-person open-world RPG.
I don't know if we
the story.
It's Hogwarts Legacy. In case we didn't. In case we
good call, dude.
We're talking about Hogwarts Legacy.
Hogwarts Legacy. Hog leg.
So I'll give you my quick rundown of this. Started playing it. I was walking around Hogwarts, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. This is so cool. Hogwarts is so cool. It is cool. Dense and confusing and alive. Hogwarts feels alive. Granted, they could have used more students. I think they need more students in the sequel.
Maybe.
Because it's only like there's only like 10, 15 students in all.
I feel like that's a good amount. The thing about this, I don't want to steal your thunder on your like rundown and explanation, but like I really want to dig into the students thing, because for me it's the strongest part of this game, and it's something that is unlike anything else in like any video game. So here's what I think about this, is that Hogwarts Legacy has the strongest cast of NPCs ever in a video game. And I'm not
They're
saying
very
like,
strong.
well, except for like Mass Effect 2, because Mass Effect 2 is probably the only other contender. And I know there are probably some people that are out here thinking about like Fallout New Vegas or like Elder Scrolls 5 or something like that, that probably maybe give it a run for its money. It's tough to tell. Outer Worlds, sorry, perhaps. But there is no game in the world that I can name more NPCs, like first and last names of, or at least first names, than Hogwarts Legacy. Like between the people that you meet, like the goblins and the villains, the students that you meet throughout the game, and then the teachers as well that you meet, is fucking mind-blowing. Like, I love the cast so much.
All right, quiz time.
Oh no. All right.
Okay. This character, her nickname is Natty. Give me her full name.
Natsai. Natty Onsai. Onai. O-N-A-I. I don't know her first name.
Natsai Onai.
I was right.
Kind of.
I did pretty well. Pretty well.
It's
Go
okay.
ahead.
Okay. Potions professor.
Shit. It's like Professor Sharp.
Yes. Defense against the dark arts.
I don't know who teaches it. It's it's probably one of the few that I don't know. He's got a foreign name. I can picture him. He's a fucking hefty man wearing, I don't know what he teaches then.
He's charms. Ronan is charms.
Ronan, yeah, I like Ronan a lot.
Defense against the dark arts is Dina Heckett, Professor Heckett.
Professor Heckett, yep, for sure.
Okay, let's go back to more easy ones. The person who challenges you to a broom race.
I don't know.
These are great NPC. Okay, Imelda Reyes. Sebastian's jerk of a friend.
Oh, don't say it. I know this fucking asshole, dude. I hate this kid. I hate this kid. Yeah, I got it. Don't tell me his name. It is, it's such a stupid name, too. It just, like, sounds, it's ominous Gaunt.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that kid, dude. Just because you're blind doesn't mean you get to be a fucking asshole. You're not mutually exclusive.
The girl who loves animals.
Poppy, dude.
Poppy Sweeting.
Poppy Sweeting must be protected at all costs.
We love Poppy, yeah.
Phenomenal NPC.
No, I agree. The NPCs in this game were great.
No Samantha, dude. Samantha's my girl.
Well, I mean, I can.
I love it. Oh, dude.
Ranrock's
Professor
right-hand man, I guess.
Harlow?
Ranrock's Victor Rockwood.
Oh, Victor Rookwood, yeah. Victor Rookwood, and then Harlow is like the third. I really liked even like some of the NPCs at Hogsmeade. I liked Serona quite a bit. I liked the Augustus, the guy who owned the whatever shop, was pretty cool. I liked this version of Ollivander, was awesome. I liked all of the professors, honestly. Like Professor Weasley obviously was so fucking sick. Headmaster Black was really well done in that, like, he's kind of like a despicable individual. You know what I mean? Like, he's just like super cold and like not involved, and that's kind of the lore on him too. And then obviously, huh? Yeah, like I think
on him.
I think he's name dropped in like the movies or the books as being like the world's, like, I think they talk about, it's like a conversation between Sirius Black,
Hogwarts professor,
the worst headmaster, or the most like unliked Hogwarts headmaster of all time, between Sirius and Harry. Obviously our fucking main man, the god, whose name I fucking have forgotten.
Professor Fig?
Figgy, bro.
Fig.
Yeah. Listen, my short-term memory is actually fucked, but like I felt a lot of connection to a lot of these characters. I thought it was very well done and really fucking impressive. Pretty cool shit.
I loved this game, and it made me go back and start watching the movies. I have watched the first 3 now with Allie.
Nice. How crazy is the last scene of 3? It ends on a freeze frame.
Yeah, when he's going.
It's
so good.
It's so weird.
I love 3. Some people hate 3.
I love 3. I think 3 is like a top 3.
The time the time. Like
a lot of people love 2.
back.
I didn't love 2.
I like 2 as well. Chamber of Secrets. The first 2 are like super nostalgic for me.
Same. They're cozy movies, but I think like the first one I like more because it does so much world building, and you got to give it credit for being the first one. Like it made Hogwarts, it made these characters, and then 2 is just like here's more of this, which hit or miss for me.
Yeah, I like 2 a lot. Yeah, they're good movies, but we're gonna continue to watch those as we go. But yeah, man, dude, the game was fun. The story was great.
It's fun. The combat is better than it has any business being.
Literally, yeah.
So impactful, so many cool moves, like so many moments where I end a battle and I'm like, I'm the fucking best wizard that's ever existed. Like I'm the coolest person that's ever played a video game. The shit that I just did was badass. It was so fucking sick.
I had low hopes going into this game. Like, I guess back in the last PlayStation State of Play when we saw all the timers and everybody freaked out, I kind of subconsciously freaked out and I was like, oh god, we have to wait on timers or like
you mean like the cooldowns?
Microtransaction? Yeah, like you know how when you have to brew a potion where you have a timer?
I didn't do any of that.
Oh, well, I did. I'm not surprised. Anyways, it's just a good game. The Hogwarts feels like Hogwarts, and
Professor Garlic.
Professor Garlic's fire. It's weird going back to the movies and seeing things in the movies and being like, "Oh, I know where that is.
Yeah,
I know exactly where that is." Or
it is like
going back
delivering
and
on
saying,
that fantasy.
Oh, it wasn't like that in the game. That hill wasn't there.
There are some changes, no doubt.
And like that, the greenhouses weren't there in the game. So it's fun. It's also there's like 16, 17 students. I feel like there needs to be like 40, like just a bunch. I want a bunch of students roaming around with like 16 interactable.
So like
with
this game
lines.
starts. It has the premises like you're a year 5 who's starting out at Hogwarts, and if you know your Harry Potter lore, Hogwarts is a 7-year program. So I think that this game is probably, I mean, it's going to be like one of the best-selling games of the year, if not ever.
Oh, yeah.
Like I think that's like massive already, like pushing out millions and millions of copies.
Yeah,
and that's pretty impressive.
It's
in
already
its own
set
right.
record. It's set records for like view counts and stuff too.
My thought is that this game is probably the first in a trilogy that will take your character through years 6 and 7 until you graduate Hogwarts. It would make sense to do it that way. So that's kind of my guess currently.
I hope it does. I hope it does like save
my dude Amit, bro,
as well. Yeah, Amit. Oh, you know what about that quest that I made you do?
The PlayStation exclusive quest, really shitty quest. Really shitty quest.
It was actually a really great quest.
It was really stupid. That quest thought it was so fucking cool, dude. That quest thought it was like the smartest thing ever. The designers were fucking building that quest. They were like,
it was actually a really great quest. Don't listen to
they'll never think of the solution to this.
It's a really good quest. Probably one of the best quests in the game. Plus, it gives you a 10% sell bonus at the end, so you make a lot more money if you do it earlier.
Wait until they find out the solution to this puzzle.
Yeah, so Jake never hit credits because he refuses to play the game correctly.
Okay, first of all, the fucking game. No, the fucking game.
Yeah, it's the game's
gives
fault.
you.
It's the
you
game's
beat
fault,
the game.
Not your fault for not doing all the side
quests. You beat
quests.
the game, and then it's like if you want to do 2 more things, you can, and then you go and you do the first thing, and it's like fucking 2-minute cutscene, and then the last thing is like.
Really?
They go, here's your last quest. You have to be level 35 for it. I haven't been level gated this entire fucking game. It's had suggested levels, which I have obliterated in my low levels. So it says you have to be level 35. Bro, I'm level 27. I've done everything your fucking game has had to offer me so far with no problem at all. Let me fucking beat the game. It wants me to go do a bunch of side quests so I can actually hit credits.
Anyways,
I'm not doing that. I'm protesting.
The story always ends as the game's fault, not Jake's fault. So,
anyway,
how did
Hogwarts
Tifa
Legacy
help you clean a car? I don't know.
She helped a lot, dude. I did. Is that a transition, bro?
I don't know. I'm just trying to just see how under your skin I can get about Hogwarts Legacy.
A lot. The answer is a lot. I did play Hogwarts Legacy. Rate it out of fucking 10.
9?
Yeah, 9.5 for me. Like, it's so good, dude. Like, I feel like, and it's not like Harry Potter blinders that I'm putting on. Like, if you had like a different theme, like, I really think it's still gonna hit really, really hard.
You know, I want to say a couple more things before we move on, just because I'm
No,
thinking
that's fair.
about them. I like to 100% games. It's pretty obvious. I do it all the time. We talk about it all the time. And
we gotta do a
playing
correction.
A correction.
Yeah, Avalanche. You got your Avalanches mixed up.
I do need to correct that. Evidently, there's 2 Avalanches.
There's
and
Avalanche Games and there's Avalanche Studios.
Ah,
And I don't know which is
why
which, but
in
the
the-
one that made this is the ones that made Disney Infinity in like the most recent Cars game.
Cars Driven to Win. Yeah,
Driven to Win.
I found that out. That was on my list of things.
Yeah. The
this,
other one is Just Cause and all that stuff, which
Just
like, you would think that they
Rage.
were the ones that did this, to be quite honest.
You would think.
But I mean, these guys coming out of nowhere and becoming, quite honestly, a AAA developer. Like, that is a AAA video game. Budget, quality, story, every department was firing on all fucking cylinders when they made this.
And quality, like I say, I like to 100% games. So if there's an issue with the game's quality, whether it's bugs or collectibles not tracking, I'm gonna find it. Right?
Sure.
I had 0 problems with this game. No bugs, nothing.
Yeah.
But like if we look at Atomic Hearts, every third collectible that you pick up doesn't track. Right? There's just in 100%ing a game, you get to see a lot more of it than most people do, and you can see how much time and care went into getting everything perfect. It was a great game. I had very few frame rate drops. How was that for you?
I had a couple like sort of like the Pokemon thing where when it was like way in the distance there was like a windmill that would have like slow down or something like that until you got kind of like close and like populated, but it nothing out of the ordinary. It ran really well on a PlayStation 5 natively for me. I know the PC edition has had some issues, but
PC always has issues.
Nothing to write home about.
That's a problem with playing with PC. I had very few frame rate drops, like they would be persistent drops, but it's because I would leave the game opened on rest mode for like days at a time, and I just close the game and relaunch it, and everything's fine.
Standard fare.
Yeah. It's a great game, guys.
It's so good.
Play it.
Yeah.
Controversy acknowledged. It's a good game, and that's all.
J.K. Rowling, deplorable piece of human fucking trash. She can rot and die, no doubt. But Harry Potter universe, go figure.
Yep.
Kind of poggers.
It is. It's good.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Oh, you know what? My complaint with this game.
Mm-hmm.
Where's our Patronus? Why didn't we get a Patronus?
You gotta earn your Patronus, bro.
I feel like we would have earned our Patronus, and
I don't know. That lake is there. The lake where Harry gets his Patronus.
It is there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so
in
cool.
the Forbidden Forest.
So many cool
It's so
things.
fucking awesome. It's
Oh,
so fucking good.
I was so surprised, like going into this game without watching much stuff on it beforehand, especially like the launch trailers and stuff. I did not expect to be able to just walk from Hogwarts to Hogsmeade.
I know, dude. Didn't you feel like that should be instanced out?
Yes, I thought for certain it was going to be like you click a thing on the map and fast travel there.
The only thing that you can't do is you can't fly into Hogsmeade, which I get. Like you need to like take the bridge into it, and it does get a little bit confused where it'll be like you'll be leaving Hogsmeade, and they'll be like, sometimes it feels like all roads lead to Hogsmeade.
Yeah, they cross the path to
I think it's when you teleport in and then you walk out of Hogsmeade. It's like, oh, he's getting to Hogsmeade. No, your logic is fucked.
It's just because Hogsmeade is so like packed with stuff. It's so dense. It feels so like so lived in. It feels so lived in.
The fact that I can walk out of Hogsmeade, hop on my broom, jet over to Hogwarts, land on like a balcony in Hogwarts, and then walk into the castle with no fucking like loading screen is so ridiculous. I'm really interested. We'll have to like, I don't know, watch streams or reviews or something. Let's recap at the beginning of it's exactly a month from today. I believe it's April 3rd that the previous gen versions come out. Not even Switch, but PS4,
Switch is in
Xbox
July.
One. Yeah,
so
it's gonna be messy, I
Allie
think.
is very excited to play Hogwarts Legacy on her Switch, and I'm trying to let her know. I'm like, Allie,
you should download Lego Harry Potter and be like, here you go, Hogwarts Legacy.
This is not going to go well. This is not going to go well. I just want to prepare you.
I wonder if it could be like one of those situations where, no, it's not going to be. I was thinking about like how back in the day, like multi-platform stuff would have like almost like full different games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exclusive quests or things were done differently, or like there's like a couple examples of like where like the PS2 version is actually better than the 360 version or something like that.
It's not even the cloud version on Switch.
No, it's native.
It's crazy.
We'll see.
They're gonna have to do some magic. They're gonna have to do some actual Hogwarts magic.
Hogwarts magic.
Another quick spell, okay? Or a quick spell. Another quick quiz. I say what the spell does. You cast the spell, okay?
I'll try. Yeah, I did a lot of shouting out the spells, dude. I streamed this entire game. I got a full playthrough, and every time they would do something, I'd be like, Revelio! Like, I would just do this fucking thing, too. It was so fucking fun. Go ahead.
The spell that brings something to you.
Accio.
The spell that causes people to suffer.
Crucio.
The spell...
They all sound like Italian. So I give them a little flair.
Yeah, kind of. The spell that
Latin,
causes
probably.
things to float. I'll take either one.
Levioso and Wingardium Leviosa.
Yeah.
I think I still have my Harry Potter soundboard.
Fireball.
I had the entire time that I streamed it, I had a fucking Harry Potter soundboard ready to rip.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
I can't
you don't hear it, but the listeners did, and they're better for it.
The spell that shoots a fireball. This is my favorite one.
Oh, it's not Combusto. It's fucking fuck. It's so good, dude. It's so good. It's shit. I don't know.
Confringo.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, Confringo, Bombarda.
Bombarda was also very good. Incendio
sucked.
Yeah, dude. All my homies hate Incendio. That's the one that's like, it actually isn't that bad. It's just AoE, and I was just constantly trying to shoot projectiles. AoE doesn't have that much of a use. Depulso. Flipendo was also very good. I love Flipendo.
There's like Defenso or something.
Dude, so if you get into like the dark arts and shit like that, which I don't think is a spoiler, those are in the game, you end up getting like those 3 unforgivable spells, which are, of course, Avada Kedavra, Crucio, and another one.
Imperio or something?
Imperio, yeah, for sure. And some of the shit that you can do in the game and the combat system with that,
so great,
so fucking satisfying. Like with the Avada Kedavra is like the killing curse, and there are so many times in that game where I'm like, I wonder if I could just like, you get to like a troll mini boss and be like, could I just like one shot this dude with the killing curse? And you fucking can, dude. And like the way that you feel powerful in that moment doing that in the game is so sick. But to take it to the next level is like, you can enhance your skill trees so that you can add. So like basically
you can chain them.
When you like get Crucio and you start inflicting it, it's like a damage over time spell, and you can afflict people with that in different ways,
and it curses them, puts a debuff on them.
Exactly.
And then if you continue to attack them, it just spreads to the enemies nearby. So like you Crucio,
and then the final thing is that you can have the Avada Kedavra chain to everybody that's cursed. And some of the shit with that, of like casting that and then having it fucking spurt out 7 times and kill everybody on the screen in one shot, is some of the most satisfying shit in video games. It really is like,
the animation for the unforgivables, it like slows down a little bit and like zones in on your character, and it's just really epic. It's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good game. It's a good game.
Anne and Solomon, bro.
Anne.
Fucking
I'm not gonna
game.
say anything because I'm gonna say a spoiler again.
Fucking game is
a really good
dude.
game.
Game is good. Game is good. Game is my game of the year, and I'm not ashamed. I'm slightly ashamed of it, but I like it. I like that game.
No. I don't think you should.
I get it.
It's a good game. It's right there for me as well.
Yeah. Fucking awesome.
But
beyond happy with my experience there. I was also very happy about the Midgar special pack in Power Wash Simulator. This shit was so stupid, dude. I've played Power Wash Simulator before and it's never really clicked for me. The Power Wash Simulator Midgar special pack is the second DLC expansion for Power Wash Simulator. The first one was Tomb Raider related, which isn't exactly the IP that people are clamoring for more of when it comes to like, I don't know, in-game environments. Midgar Final Fantasy VII does qualify,
you know what's
though.
Funny about that is
they sold off the fucking rights.
They sold off Tomb Raider before the Tomb Raider pack ever came out.
But they still had it in the can.
Yeah, So
it's Square Enix, so Square Enix just sold off all of that stuff with like Crystal Dynamics to Embracer Group. They've been embraced, I believe.
Embracer, yeah.
Yeah, wild times. But so this is basically, it's 5 Power Wash Simulator levels, and they are cleaning off like Cloud's motorcycle and the little buggy that you take at the beginning of Final Fantasy VII. The second one is cleaning off the Guard Scorpion, the first boss that you fight in Final Fantasy VII. The third one, the beefiest one, is cleaning 7th Heaven, dude. The bar, Tifa's bar from Final Fantasy VII, which is so much fucking fun to do. The fourth one is doing a model of Midgar, like you find in the Shinra boardroom, right outside the Shinra boardroom. And then the fifth one is cleaning out the Airbuster, one of the early game bosses as well. And it's exactly what you think it is. It's just more of this shit. But I had a really good time. Like, I just wanted to go. And we made a little stream game of it where it was like, we're gonna help Tifa. Tifa needs us to clean the bar. So we put Tifa on the screen and we listened to the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack. We did the first 2 levels, then we finally got to the bar and it took forever. And by the time we finished the bar, Chat and I were just kind of in the zone. We're vibing out to the music, chatting about this, that, or the other thing. Next thing I know, I beat the DLC and it's 4.5 hours long and the VOD's on fucking YouTube. Like, it was really something else, man. I had a fucking blast with it. I really enjoyed myself with this Power Wash Simulator thing. And if you do something interesting like what I just described, I think you can have a good time with it as well. Like, it's a weird, small, little standalone thing. It's on Game Pass. It cost me $0, and I had a fun afternoon with it. That's really all there is to it. Power Wash Simulator, baby. You jumped into Metroid.
I did.
And your Metroid past is spotty as fuck, isn't it?
My Metroid past is literally Metroid Dread. And
so crazy, and I haven't even played Metroid Dread outside of the fucking demo, basically.
I didn't even know I had a demo.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Metroid Prime's more up my alley. It's third
Metroid
person,
Prime is sick as fuck.
Person. It's first person, like 3D. It's very good, and
exploration based.
Yeah, it
Metroidvania
works really well
in this.
Still.
It does. It translates. Yeah. It holds up. This is an old 10 out of 10 game that is still a 10 out of 10 with a fresh coat of paint. And low key, the best looking Switch game ever.
Yeah, it looks really good. Very good. It hurts me that Switch just can't do like 4K because you still see like the little like pixely corners on circle objects and stuff. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm doing a playthrough on YouTube. And I'm probably 4 or 5 hours in. Yeah. And I plan on continuing it. Yeah, it's really good.
I think it's awesome, and I think it's a very cool like $40 package. It is obviously a port of a GameCube game, but it's a little bit more than that. Like, I think they put in the work to warrant the price, and the game holds up so well, and it's such a content-heavy game that I can't recommend it enough. I'm still only a few hours in. I haven't played since we last did. The thing about Metroid is, like, you really need to stick with it. You can't play, like, an hour of Metroid and then leave it for a couple weeks. Like, when I restart it, I'm going to start from the beginning, because it's one of those games where it's like, you'll pass by a door and you're like, I need to get into that door. And then you'll go do things for an hour and a half and you'll finally get the ability that allows you to get to that door that you saw. And if you don't remember where that door was, fuck yourself.
Oh, God. You really need the ability. I think in most games, you should have the ability to pin things on the map and add a note with those pins.
Yeah.
Because it's just
or
so
like
much
I think Breath of the Wild has like a good thing with like the icons that you can leave on the map. Like, you know what I'm talking
Elden
about?
Ring did that as well. Yeah.
Well, because does Elden Ring have it too, where like you can have like different custom icons?
Bunch of different icons. Yeah.
Got it.
I like that, or I just need to be able to remind myself somehow.
100%,
especially in Metroidvanias. They did a really good job about it in oh God, what am I trying to say? In Dread, they kind of like just tagged it for you. If there's something that you couldn't go to or couldn't collect, they would just tag it for you. But I really need to be able to pin things so I just know. Yeah, because it is difficult to backtrack. And
you're sticking with it though. You're pretty deep and staying on. On course.
I'm gonna stick with it. Yeah,
for sure.
It's a playthrough game, so I'll finish it no matter what.
Yeah, I'll be getting into it again probably as things lull out a little bit in middle of April for me. Cool. You're rolling credits on Dead Space. Is that right?
I finished Dead Space. The
Cool.
final part for Dead Space should be up whenever this podcast goes up,
Nice.
or maybe right after. Really good remake, best of the best. Is really good.
Yeah,
Very
we dove
scary.
into it pretty heavily, so you can.
Yeah, there's
you
not
can
much to
leave
say
it
about
at
it.
It's on your list
past
though.
that.
Game of the year list somewhere.
Yeah, it's on the list. It's very good, and I just recently played it for the first time year and a half ago, but it's still worth a replay on
Nice.
the new upgrade. It's so pretty, so good.
For sure. I checked out The Messenger again, which is a game that I played not to completion in the past, but this is a game is developed by the same team that's doing Sea of Stars. Sea of Stars is very much a it's not a sequel. It is a prequel technically, but it is very detached from The Messenger. It's got a similar art style to The Messenger, but it is, I think, far enough detached that you don't need to know shit about The Messenger to get to Sea of Stars. But what The Messenger is it's a 2D old school beat 'em up platformer, kind of like a Shinobi type of thing, or a Tenchu old school game. I don't want to say too much about it because the game has some really interesting ways of like talking to you and having like conversations through NPCs. It is a self-aware game, and if you played Sea of Stars, you kind of know what I'm talking about as far as tone goes. Really, really cool. The Messenger, I don't want to say much about. It's available on like every platform for free. It's on, I think it's on Game Pass. It's definitely on the PlayStation Plus thing. If not, it's on Steam for like $8. The Messenger is cool, man. Check it out. It does things that you would not expect. I don't think I'm doing service to it, but I think I've already covered The Messenger on this podcast before.
Yeah, you have. And I said I probably won't check it out. And I still probably won't check it out. It's just not the kind of game that I like. But Sea of Stars is, so I'll play it probably.
Yeah. The last thing is that last month we talked about the announcements that came out. It was technically like early February, but I went ham on the Nintendo Switch Online stuff that's available now. So I played to completion Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins, which is one of my favorite Mario games, low key. Really, really cool to see and super fun to just romp through. You can beat that game in like 2 hours if you use if you're either good at platformers or you use Rewind, which I did. Fun full playthrough. Mario Land 2 fucking slaps. It is Hiroji Kiyotake's first Mario game. It's the debut of Wario. Wario is the villain in this game. It just does a lot of cool shit, man. Can't say enough good things about Super Mario Land 2. And then I got into the Game Boy Advance stuff. I played a bunch of Kururin, which is a puzzle game where you guide a spinning bar. I am going to leave it at that. If that sounds stupid to you, go fucking try it. If you have the Game Boy Advance stuff available to you and you like puzzle games at all, go try this disgustingly addictive and frustrating game. It's one of those things where I was
really
like,
hard.
I was like, God, I'm so over this, but I really want to beat this level. The next thing I know, I beat the level and I'm starting the next one. Kururin. Worth a shot. The last thing that I played is the fucking star of the show, WarioWare, baby. Mega Micro Games, one of my favorite franchises ever. And let me tell you, this game fucking holds up. This is the absolute original WarioWare that came out for the Game Boy Advance. It's available on the Nintendo Switch Online plus Expansion Pass. It holds up in such a big way. The VOD on my YouTube of WarioWare is about 2 hours long, and it is, I would cite it as probably the most fun that I've ever had on fucking stream. Like, it is such a fun little playthrough. It is so weird and quirky, but in a endearing way, and it just stands the test of time, man. WarioWare is special. Have you ever played a WarioWare game?
No.
Do you know what they are?
Yeah, they're like little mini games.
Yeah, they're all strung
Micro
together.
games.
So it's like each game is like 3 or 4 seconds long, and it'll have a command. Like the command is pick, and you'll have a fucking finger that's going left and right on the screen, and then a nose, and you just have to hit A so that the finger goes up the nose. And then the next command will be like jump, and it'll be you on a skateboard rolling down a hill, and you get to a jump and you need to jump over the obstacle. It's just those like strung together, and each one is just so strange. And then like I'd say like every 3 or 4, the prompt is so weird, you just burst out fucking laughing. Like it is such a bizarre game. I can't recommend WarioWare enough. I really want to play more, but there are a lot of them are kind of like hardware specific, where you need to have the original Game Boy Advance to really enjoy WarioWare Twister. You need a DS to play WarioWare Touched with the stylus, that kind of thing. But all right, that's enough. That's enough me rambling. That's everything that we've played. Let's look at our Game of the Year list real quick. Hogwarts Legacy, baby. Number 1.
Yeah.
Theatrhythm. Number 2. Hi-Fi Rush. Number 3. Metroid Prime Remastered. Number 4. You take yours away.
Number 1, Destiny 2 Lightfall. Number 2, Hogwarts Legacy. Those could swap back and forth depending on the day, honestly. Both wonderful. Number 3, Dead Space. Number 4, Season, Letter to the Future.
It doesn't fit.
A Letter to the Future. Yeah, no, it's a weird subtitle anyways. Number 5, Metroid Prime Remastered, and number 6, Atomic Heart, which could honestly be on my stinkers list. I don't know. I can't
Fine line
tell.
between Game of the Year and stinker for
And
Atomic
stinker.
Heart.
It doesn't. It's so. I just don't know what I think about that game.
I get it.
But yeah, it's been good. It's been a good year so far.
It's gonna fall off your Game of the Year list. You know, it's gonna fall off.
It will. Metroid
Like,
Prime probably will as well.
I don't know if Metroid Prime survives mine, and it's only at number 4. Like, I've only got those 4 games, and then I've got spoiler, my Fire Emblem Engage is at my stinkers. Early edition to my stinkers. I don't know if it'll stick, but I don't know.
Do I
think
wait. I don't remember if I have something in stinkers or not. I don't think so.
You might.
No, I don't have anything in stinkers yet. But yeah,
The year is young.
It's good.
You want to talk about the news?
Good year so far. Yes, I do.
All right, let's start things off with there was a Pokemon Presents not out of nowhere. It was for fucking Pokemon Day. I predicted that this was going to happen. The Pokemon Presents was underwhelming to say the fucking least, if I'm being honest. They announced a bunch of shit for the Pokemon games that are always talked about: Cafe Remix, Pokemon Unite, Pokemon Go. They announced like a new peripheral thing where it's like a Pokemon. Oh, it's the stupidest name ever. They've had this little device called the Pokemon Plus that would attach to it via Bluetooth that would allow you to like catch Pokemon when you're not using your phone just with the touch of a button. They announced a new version of it, and what did they call it? Do you want to guess? The first one was called the Pokemon Plus.
Pokemon Times.
Pokemon Plus Plus.
Oh, I should have. I was gonna say that. But I thought it would actually be dumber than that.
No, it's not dumber than that. It's that dumb.
No, I think Pokemon Plus Plus actually isn't that bad.
Their big announcement was the new Pokemon
DLC.
Scarlet and Violet expansions, which are called the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero, and it's a 2-part. So it's funky. What's been announced basically is that it's a 2-part expansion. Is the first half of the expansion pack. So there's still another who knows what coming after this for the expansion pass. These 2 parts are making up the first part of the expansion pass. So it's like maybe a quarter each one. But it's 2 expansions that kind of look like they are inspired by, they kind of have like an Alola vibe, which is like the Pokemon Sun and Moon, sort of like a tropical foreign setting to them. It's very interesting. It's a little underwhelming. They announced like 4 or 5 new Pokemon to go alongside it. It was all sort of like live action mixed with in-game artwork for them, and it was all honestly like more informative than it was like showing off the actual thing. They're slated for 2023, but I think we'll probably recap these once they have more to show. The most impressive thing that they announced, arguably, is they finally showed fucking Pokemon Sleep again for the first time in a very, very long time.
It's been a while.
Which I think it'd been like 2, almost 3 years maybe since Pokemon Sleep, and they have a little trailer for it, and it's what we expected. It's still not out. Some people were thinking maybe a shadow drop for that, but no. They have like another live action trailer explaining kind of how the app works, and it's a sleep tracker that compares your sleep to like that of Pokemon, and it's just kind of similar to like the Pokemon toothbrushing app basically, where it tracks your sleep and gives you an engaging way to think about something healthy, which I think is interesting. Not a bad thing. I don't think it's for me.
Yeah, I'm literally sitting here thinking, what is the purpose? Everything Pokemon just turns me off.
Oh, that's weird, because there's a whole sect of people where everything Pokemon turns them on sexually.
See, I'm the opposite. Except for Ryan Reynolds' Detective Pikachu. That turned me
Detective Pikachu is fucking better than it should be.
Yeah, it's the best video game movie to date.
No, that's not true. Sonic the Hedgehog is better than Detective Pikachu.
No.
Yeah.
I've never watched those, so it must be true.
Yeah, you should watch the first one. It's pretty good.
Not the second one?
Second one's not as good. It's good though.
Interesting.
The thing that I think people were a little psyched up on the Pokemon Presents, and the reason is because there was sort of an opportunity that was, I think, missed. They have announced 3 or 4 months back that Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 are coming to the Nintendo eShop via the expansion pass for the 64 games. And I thought that it was prime time. I mean, GoldenEye was about a month ago to drop these games. The only ones that are really left to release are like 1080 and Excitebike, and then Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 for the ones that are like announced right now. They've put out GoldenEye, they put out the Mario parties, they're all ready to rip. And I think a lot of people were expecting either a release date or even a shadow drop for those. And then there were rumblings of, Game Boy came to the Nintendo Switch Online service. Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow maybe appearing, maybe Gold, Silver, Crystal, maybe Leaf Green, Fire Red, Ruby, Sapphire. Give us a little something. Nothing. So I think people kind of got their expectations a little fucked up.
I think people always expect too much.
Of course. Would you say that it happened with another event this month?
I would absolutely say that happened with
the
Sony State of Play.
Yeah, it did.
State of Play.
What'd you see? What'd you like?
So it started with the VR games, 5 VR games.
What a fucking shit show, dude.
Green Hell VR, Synapse. I'm just naming these because I really don't care.
That PSVR 2 is looking more and more like it was sent out to die, dude.
I disagree with that. Isaac Asimov's Journey to Foundation and Before Your Eyes VR. PSVR's had better support than the Vita ever got. I think they learned a lot from the Vita. I don't think the
Vita
PSVR 2 was sent out.
I know. But like, Uncharted Golden Abyss was a hotter ticket than Horizon Call of the Mountain, I think, as far as like a push for an exclusive.
Well, I think you're also comparing. Well, I say this, but I did the same thing just a moment ago. I was going to say you're comparing apples to oranges. VR's not handheld. You can't compare, but I literally just did. I don't know. It's harder to push VR, I don't know. I don't know what to do with it.
I was definitely expecting and I'm already out on the PSVR 2, but it felt like it was a couple days. This thing fell on the 23rd. I want to say the PSVR came out on the 21st. To the biggest gripe has been where's the Sony first party push? You know what I mean? Where's the big game besides Call of the Mountain, besides Gran Turismo, which is just a patch? Do you have a big name?
Well, again, I think people are expecting too much.
The answer was no. They didn't have a big game. They have nothing to show. They don't have. What's the big game that you're excited for? I'm buying PSVR 2 so that I can go because I can't wait for blank to come out.
But we're not the target audience for it. How
for anybody who's not the target audience? When was the last time you
put on your VR headset that you own currently?
2 years ago, and it was for porn.
We're
just kidding.
We're not the target audience, but the target audience seems to be happy. Target audience is VR racers.
But when I ask that question, there is no answer. It doesn't matter who the target audience is. What is the big first-party PlayStation VR exclusive on the horizon that you're looking forward to? The answer is
we don't know anything
there isn't
about
one.
We don't know anything.
That's an intrinsic problem.
Horizon right now.
Correct. Well, no, that's not true. We know
Spider-Man.
We know Wolverine. We know
I wouldn't count that.
Last of Us factions. We know, there are things that are a given too with this. We know that Naughty Dog isn't there twiddling their thumbs. You know what I mean? We know that Sucker Punch isn't sitting on their fucking hands, not developing a game for PlayStation 5.
You're getting into the issue of expecting, right?
I think expecting is a huge. I think expecting is a huge issue.
Are always out the roof, and you're always disappointed. At the start of the PlayStation State of Play, I literally said, at the end of this, I'm going to feel okay. You're going to be disappointed because you expect too much. Yes.
But I think that there is validity. We've gone back and forth on this many times, and this PSVR 2, I think, is still an intrinsic issue, is the fact that there is no first-party game on the horizon whatsoever. There's no inkling.
We just don't know about it.
That's the problem. That's the problem right there. The fact that we don't know about it is the problem. There probably is. I think you're right that there probably is. The fact that you have released your product to market without a clear pipeline of content for it is the issue. And that's what I'm complaining about.
I don't know. I don't know how their marketing is going. Their marketing's been weird for the past couple of years. But if my thought is if you unveil something saying this is for the future of PSVR, but it's not there at launch. You're not you're incentivizing people to wait to pick up the VR. But they're gonna
but honestly,
it's a
like,
hard call.
disagree,
like,
because
I
then
don't
you
know.
have to choose. It's putting you between a rock and a hard place. You either have to admit that there's not enough stuff for your PSVR in this argument, or you have to not have a pipeline. Like it's choose one.
Well, and then
it
there's
can't
also
be both, and it can't be one or the other.
The problem is, we talked about it earlier. Game development's whack, right? The thing is, they could have expected big things to be ready for the launch of PSVR, and then they got delayed. But the supply line for VR was already in the works, so you can't. I don't know what.
It just seems like, I think there's something stinks, is what I'm saying. Like, there's something fishy. I've been saying it for a while. I hope to be wrong. I hope that they announce something and it's like a fucking absolute revelation, and they're like, this is the PSVR thing that we've been waiting for. And I will still say, why didn't they show it earlier? Why did they not care to sell these things on launch? Because the situation that is at hand is that if you look at any other product that you could possibly compare, whether it be the Vita, whether it be the launch of a brand new console or anything like that, you always have some dangling carrot where you're like, ooh, by the time that comes out, I'll have a PSVR. Might as well take the fucking plunge now. I'm not missing out on The Last of Us Part 3 or whatever the fuck game is coming to that exclusively. It's not Green Hell VR, I'll tell you that much.
Actually, Green Hell seems really cool in VR.
That fucking
Green
trailer,
Hell
dude.
is the forest. Green Hell is the forest without the mutants.
The Green Hell VR trailer that ends with that shitty looking fucking tiger, dude. Oh my god, we gotta watch it. Hold on, I can pull it up. It's so easy to do. It's the funniest shit in the world. Oh my god. Here's your killer app. Here you go. All right. Enough VR slander. What else did they announce?
They had a new Lightfall trailer. Chia got a release date and a trailer, and it's on PS Plus.
I love that. Are you in for Chia for free?
Maybe I'll check it out, but probably not. It's not my kind of thing.
I'm very in on Chia. I think it looks really good, and for people that are not sure what Chia is like the third-person platformer adventure game where you can kind of Mario Odyssey into random things, inanimate objects and animals. Looks really fun.
Humanity got its trailer.
Yep, talked about
release
that.
date, and
what's the release date for
VR
it?
support. It's in May.
Okay,
there's no
nice.
like date from my knowledge, but it's.
But that's pretty soon.
Yeah. Your favorite game, Goodbye Volcano High, it got a release date.
Are we playing that? Are we streaming that together or what?
Dude, I could not put myself through that. I wouldn't even wish that on my worst enemy.
Yeah, it looks really...
it's for the furries, let's be honest.
It is.
We've got Naruto Boruto, the Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections.
I think this is a big deal for some people.
I think so. Not for me. That's coming out in 2023, no date. My biggest thing, Baldur's Gate 3 is coming to PS5.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Console announcement. And they had previously kind of said that wasn't going to happen. So sort of a surprise.
So they're also working on it for Xbox as well. Xbox will not be at launch. They said that they've had pretty much the Series X or the Series S is holding them back in their development, and they have to take extra time with it.
Yeah.
So that's coming out on August 31st. So I'll be picking that up and playing it. There was a really weird like looter shooter looking thing called Wayfinder.
I signed up for the beta for that. They never got back to me. I don't think. I should look. Yeah,
I'm not interested. Street Fighter 6, that was probably one of the biggest things there.
Yeah, Street Fighter 6 had a
we got
Oh
Cammy.
shit, they did get back to me.
Oh, nice.
Welcome, you are invited to participate in a closed beta test of Wayfinder on the PlayStation 5.
Nice.
Oh, legally binding NDA. I'm not playing it. I'm not even clicking it, bro.
Yeah.
No shit.
It was
maybe I'll do it.
Zangief, Lily, and Cammy.
Oh, dude. Should we talk about our viral clip from the event?
Yeah.
Cammy, I mean, it's kind of blowing up on TikTok. I just posted it to mine, but Cammy has a stretch that caught us both off guard.
Hold on, did you at me in that?
No.
Bro.
I know, I didn't think of it. I didn't think of it. I just fucking posting clip. You should post it to yours.
No.
All right, cool.
You should just at me.
I should have added you. You're right.
You should have added me.
My fault.
It's okay. Cammy's hot, a hot British chick. It's
Easy main.
What? It was a deep cut, making jokes about, you know, the British people with bad teeth joke.
Classic.
Like meme. Yeah.
I find many British people attractive. Let it be known.
Oh no, yeah.
You heard it here first.
It was a bad joke, but I do too. Anyways, June 2nd.
Yeah, the Capcom.
Sorry, all you
dude.
British. Sorry, British people. I retract my statement. This is going to be the podcast that we look at historically for getting both of us canceled.
Luckily, it's like 3 hours fucking long, and no one's going to listen.
Yeah, they're not going to listen this long. We had RE4, which is my.
If you listen this far, hashtag cancel Kaulin in the comments.
Yeah. Honestly, yes. Any press is good press, right?
I don't know.
For me, it is. What are they going to do?
Okay. Yeah.
Get my YouTube channel canceled? That sucks.
Maybe.
I'll just start over. I'm not that far off.
That's true.
Resident Evil 4 new trailer looks good. Very exciting.
Yeah, did look good.
And then the last 15 minutes, we got to watch
boring
characters float around a boring world.
Yeah, what do you make of that?
Boring enemies.
In the Suicide Squad, kill the Justice League. Yeah, I mean, the discourse has been pretty self-explanatory. It's basically like, this is a games as a service hell.
Yeah.
4-player, persistently online. It is taking what the fans loved about the Arkham series, which I'm not even big on the Arkham series in the first place.
And throwing it in the trash.
Yeah, and saying, here's this neon Technicolor nightmare, dude. It's honestly, it's quite a shame. I don't know.
The problem, again, Jason Schreier says, you know, the problem with game development these days is it takes so long to develop a game. By the time it's out, the public zeitgeist has already shifted on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And what you're putting out is old news. Had they put this game out 4 or 5 years ago, I bet it would be having a lot better reception. Back in the days where it was like, oh, live service is killing single player. Let's go, you know. They started building this game in a different time when we wanted different types of games. And it's just, I'm not excited. I'm not. Also, this requires a persistent internet connection for single player, and I hate that. I hate it.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of it. It doesn't look. It's got like an identity crisis. It doesn't know what it wants to be, or it knows exactly what it wants to be, and it's something that's undesirable. It just seems like it's all fucking over the place, and it's just, I couldn't be less interested in the game. At the same time, it does look like something I would fucking play, like that I would pick up and like play when it was $20 or something like that with like some buddies. Like there is something to it, but it.
Don't worry, it won't take long because Gotham Knights is already $20.
Yeah, I know. Gotham Knights looks more appealing than this game.
I think so. Yeah, I'm more interested in Gotham Knights than this game.
Yeah,
and that's sad. This was supposed to be the redemption. Just look at the trailer. If you're watching the video version right now, they spend more time in the air than anything. They're always in the air. Captain Boomerang dives off a building. What is his superpower? He just throws boomerangs. Why is he diving off of buildings?
That's the biggest thing that people are like calling out is that like traditionally the Batman games were all about like their hand-to-hand combat. You had like your batarang and stuff like that. But Captain Boomerang doesn't even use a boomerang. All of the characters, what they've created is a third-person shooter. Everybody uses guns. It's all a third-person shooter. It's very weird, dude. It's strange. I don't know. I think this game is fucking dead on arrival. I think
is purple orbs. Everything you shoot, purple orbs.
Yeah, I think the discourse on this game is going to be like, this was the bridge too far on games as a service. I think that they've finally gone too far in the wrong direction, and I think that you'll be able to like track back and probably look at like Jedi Survivor versus this, and where your $70 is best spent is on like a strictly single player 10 to 12 hour experience, as opposed to a game that's trying to nickel and dime you for cosmetics that you don't even really want to play, so that you can get your numbers to go higher when you fight the bad guys. It's a messy situation. Yeah, it's not great. Not great.
And I just don't understand how they went from having it so right with Arkham to this.
Yeah,
it's sad.
And it took them 9 fucking years or something to do it too.
Yeah,
wild. On the subject of Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, on a happier subject, like this is the game that showed EA that single player is still viable, right? Jedi Fallen Order, it made EA kind of turn around and be like, hey,
it's Respawn, baby.
It's Respawn,
baby.
Respawn's fire.
Fucking doing it. Titanfall, Apex, recently canceled Apex spinoff that sounded like it was Titanfall 3, kind of.
Yeah, and Apex Mobile, RIP.
Yeah.
I think it was a couple months ago I messaged you and said, or maybe it was when you were streaming, I was like, hey, there's like a 9-minute preview of Jedi Survivor up. I never watched that. And I've not watched anything since then on this game. So I'm happy to go in.
Yeah, it is kind of one of those games where I'm like, I'm never really like amped up to see like more Jedi Survivor. I think like first couple trailers, I was like, yeah, this looks like more Jedi Survivor. I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I'm 100%
like more
in.
Jedi Fallen Order. I'm misspeaking.
Although they did make an improvement in this game. There is dismemberment on human enemies in this game as well. Because you remember the first one, they were like, oh, we just gotta like, keep that T rating. I guess they managed it with this as well, but there's actual dismemberment,
big fucking blood spurts and shit like that. But the news here is that it got delayed. It got delayed to just like a couple of weeks, something like that.
It was a 6-week delay.
It's coming out April 28th now, instead of coming out in the middle of March, which I think is fine. At the same time, it moved to Dead Island 2's release date, and Dead Island says, no, bro, don't, no!
Please,
and they pushed their game up. They said, we'll be ready a week earlier. Please give us a shot. So Dead Island 2.
They couldn't push it back because they've been delayed years and
so
years
many
and
times.
Years. They would be made. They would just get made fun of so badly if they pushed it back again.
Oh, absolutely. They absolutely would.
Arguably, it would have been the better decision to push it in like June, which is looking pretty bare. But
yeah. We talked about the Nintendo Direct last time.
Are you into Dead Island 2?
No. I barely liked Dead Island 1. I don't really like zombie games. It's bloody and gory, and that's their biggest selling point, typically. If it comes to Game Pass, it was like the kind of thing that I would play with like my homies on the weekend. Like I played Back 4 Blood for 2 nights. It was fun.
That's a good game.
So she's alright. We talked last episode about the Nintendo Direct, which showed off Zelda, but there was a really interesting leak, a nightmarish leak that could happen for a game that's still like 2.5 months away, 3 months from releasing. I didn't look at the content, but this is more of like a viewer or listener beware. There are some pretty significant Zelda Tears of the Kingdom leaks out there. Have you heard about this?
No, not a single bit.
The entire art book that comes with the collector's edition of the game leaked from like a foreign country. So there are pictures of like, I don't know if it's DLC stuff, but like costumes and enemies and things. Like Zelda is probably the game that is the closest to coming out that they have shown the least of historically ever for Nintendo, and they have been playing everything surprisingly close. Like they do not want stuff getting out there, and the amount of stuff that got out there is devastating for any video game developer to see. So beware. There's some shit out there you'd probably not like to see from Tears of the Kingdom right now. I got another PSA for Nintendo owners. So Tears of the Kingdom is confirmed a $70 video game. Right now, Nintendo Switch Online for US customers, you can go and buy the Nintendo Switch game voucher. It's $99, and it is for a pair of Switch game vouchers. The way that this works is you pay $99 and you can redeem for any first-party published Nintendo video game of your choice 2 times. You get 2 of these vouchers. What that means is that for $99, you can redeem for a pre-order of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and then use your other voucher to pre-order, say, Pikmin 4 or Bayonetta Origins, or you could even go back into the history books and you could grab WarioWare, or you could grab Luigi's Mansion 3, or you could grab Mario Odyssey, or even Breath of the Wild. This is pretty good savings. The fact that if you're already going to invest $70 into Tears of the Kingdom, this is a great way to pre-order it digitally, and then for the additional $30, you have the value of what is up to another $70 theoretically game. You have 365 days to redeem them for a game of your choice. I'm assuming games that are announced for the holiday season will also be eligible. I went to the point that I picked up 4 of the game vouchers because I'm a monster man who knows that he's going to play a bunch of shit. and that there's some things in the backlog that don't drop in price often that I would like to grab as well if they don't announce new things. To take it a step further, you can usually find deals on Nintendo Switch eShop credit. So I was able to pick up $100 worth of vouchers for $45 a piece for $50 cards from newegg.com. If you're a Costco member, I believe right now it's still going that you can get $50 cards, up to 2 of them or 3 of them, for $40, so even more savings there. You're looking at potentially spending $80 for a pair of $100 vouchers to get up to $140 worth of credit. Convoluted, it's a little complicated. Go onto your Switch eShop, look at the landing page, see if the vouchers are available for you, look at the list of games. If it interests you, it's GameList, saving you a couple bucks. You're welcome. You grabbing some vouchers?
No. Okay. I don't play enough Nintendo games.
Are you going to get Breath of the Wild? Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah, but I couldn't think of a second game that I was going to spend a voucher on.
I bet there's something, if you scroll through that list, there's probably an old $60 game. Like, you could get it for Mario Kart if you don't already have Mario Kart, that kind of thing.
I have Mario Kart.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3?
No, I'm not going to play that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that game sucks.
Yeah, it's not the best from, No,
it's not last year's greatest game.
No.
There was an unceremonious announcement of Mortal Kombat 12.
Yeah, and an investor call.
You know what's crazy, dude, is that this year, we're getting Mortal Kombat 12, Tekken 8, and Street Fighter 6. The big 3 fighting games are all getting new iterations this year. And you know what that means? I'm spending $210 on fighting games this year that I'm not going to be good at, and I'm not going to be playing for more than 8 hours. But I think Mortal Kombat always feels the best out of all of them to play.
Hey, bro, they're on Game Pass. They're on Game Pass. You don't have to buy any of them. They're on Game Pass.
If they are, I'll not buy them, no doubt. But I think Mortal Kombat is always like, Mortal Kombat has a really cool story mode for its last couple iterations. Like 9, 10, and 11 all have like a pretty substantial, like 8 or 9 hour cutscene heavy. I don't know, story that I've enjoyed. Street Fighter looks like it's making a push as well to sort of have some stuff going on there from like the third person perspective in a actual story based game, but Mortal Kombat seems to be the king. Tekken is just fun little standalone arcade fights, of course, but they've had some single player stuff too. Tekken 5 had a really cool mode as well. Who knows what's to come, but still no like official announcement. Just on a Warner Brothers conference call for their earnings, they said that 2023 is going to be a big year because Mortal Kombat 12 is launching this year. So confirmed.
I feel like they should delay that out and into a year with less fighting games.
Maybe. The last thing I have here, we don't have to talk about it much, but there's still just a little more bubble on the Xbox Activision stuff. They signed a deal with Nintendo pending the approval of the merger that they will bring Call of Duty to Nintendo systems, which is so crazy because the Call of Duty doesn't come to Nintendo systems.
No, the funny part of that to me is the fact that like, one, Call of Duty runs like crap on the consoles that it's already on.
I know.
2, how the heck are you going to get it to run on Switch? Like, even if they have new hardware coming, it's not going to be the best hardware. Messy.
Maybe the more interesting thing
it's insane.
Is that they announced that it would come to NVIDIA cloud streaming as well, the GeForce Now, which is interesting because that's a direct competitor to Game Pass and probably Game Pass's biggest competitor. But I mean, another show of good faith. They're doing anything that they can to get this deal fucking pushed.
Literally,
through,
at this point, I just wish they would just let them have it and give up.
I'm sick of
discourse.
it. Yeah, I agree.
I'm so over it, and it's like all I'm going to be losing is Call of Duty, anyways, and I really don't care that much. I know. I'm so over Call of Duty.
Yep, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what's coming up. There's some stuff, man. The March games are up for PlayStation Plus. It's Battlefield 2042, Code Vein, and Minecraft Dungeons. We will not talk about the shit show at the Fuck Factory because it's not worth our time. Xbox Live Games with Gold is a joke to the industry and an insult to Xbox gamers around the world. Let's get into what's coming soon. Today is March 3rd. Wolong is out. We've talked about that at length already on this podcast. March 9th is a weird day, man. We've got a Capcom Spotlight happening, which is the third, I believe, Capcom Spotlight that's happened. They've announced that it's going to take a look at Exoprimal, Monster Hunter Rise, Street Fighter 6, Resident Evil 4 Remake. My guess, you got a prediction for this? You know what my guess is going to be?
Street Fighter 6? Oh, Shadow Drop demo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
they
my
said demo
prediction for the
coming
PlayStation
soon,
thing.
so that's what they're waiting for is for
Yeah,
this.
I
event.
guarantee
Yeah.
on Thursday, March 9th, we react to this thing, and then hours later, we're playing the Resident Evil 4 demo. It'll be pretty cool. Also happening on that day is the Nintendo Direct, the final Nintendo Direct for the final trailer for the Mario movie, which is going to be pretty cool. At the same time, the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass Wave 4 drops, which is pretty cool. It's got that original map based on Yoshi's Island, which I'm excited for. And then on the Virtual Console, Metroid Fusion is coming to the Game Boy Advance, so if you have the Switch Online with expansion pack. All of that happening on... I'm going to be live for like 10 hours on the 9th, just playing a bunch of shit. I'm excited. Bayonetta Origins comes out on the 17th. WWE 2K23 also on the 17th. On the 21st is Chia, also coming to PlayStation Plus Essential and Premium. Can you believe that I know the names of the years these days? Have I said that on the show, that I subscribed to a year of...
No, I don't think you have.
Yeah, I'm a monster, dude. I shit on it all the time. And I was just like, you know what? Let's just do it. $120. Let's get a year of this thing going.
So yeah, what I did is I bought 5 years of PlayStation Now before it swapped over for $60, and it automatically upgraded me to the highest tier for 5 years.
That's
So I saved half the price for 5 years.
Yeah, you saved like $1,000. What a legend.
A lot of money. Yeah.
The 24th, Resident Evil 4. What do you got?
No, you can continue with the releases. I'll say it after.
Last of Us comes to PC. Last of Us Part 1 on the 28th, the same day as MLB The Show 23, the Sony published game that comes to everything under the sun, including Game Pass, baby.
Interesting. Something we haven't updated since we've done it, I don't think. Me and Jake did a Fantasy Critic.
Fantasy League, yeah.
Yeah,
Wild times.
And
it's going
currently
poorly
I'm
for me.
ahead by a wide margin.
Yeah, it's not great.
I counterpicked Destiny 2 Lightfall. Not understanding what a counterpick was, but it's okay because it's getting bad reviews. So in the end,
I can't believe it's doing so fucking poorly. It's honestly like, I don't know. It's not getting many reviews, so they haven't actually logged yet. But it's all going bad. I counterpicked Fire Emblem Engage, which I think should have reviewed more poorly than it did, so I lost points there. I got fucking Monster Hunter Rise, which is good. It's my best game. It's at an 88. I got Persona 3 Portable, which only got an 81 compared to your Persona 4 Golden, which got an 88. Just losing left and right, bro.
Yeah,
your Dead Space remake really came through. Yeah,
89. I was looking at this list. I can't believe neither of us picked Octopath or Wo Long. I think I didn't pick Octopath because I didn't think it was going to evolve it enough.
Yeah.
Which it turned out it did. And then Wo Long's getting like 88.
And how scared were we of Harry Potter, dude?
Oh,
we were terrified of Hogwarts Legacy.
I think,
and it crushed.
Yeah,
its Metacritic
but it makes
is like
sense that we avoid it.
It's insane, dude.
Is it 90s or something?
I don't know, actually. I haven't looked in a while. It's OpenCritic, not Metacritic. Is what they review based on. But it's
88
it's
critics,
high.
84 of the top critics. So
88's
that's
nice.
Still a really good one.
Yeah, disgusting.
Oh, also the fact that we couldn't, I could have picked Metroid Prime. It was on the list, but I didn't know what
it was shadow dropped.
Well, yeah, but like the top list that I just kind of scrolled through and picked my game from instead of searching it.
Yeah, I don't know how that would have
there.
worked.
I just would have had to get lucky because if it hadn't been dropped at all, then I would have been screwed. But currently, I'm in the lead with 59 points, and Jake has 17 points. My projected is 204, and Jake's is 172. So we'll stop back in as the year progresses, and see how it goes.
We'll take a look like every other month or something. Whenever something drastic happens.
Yeah, I typically lose these kinds of things, so I wouldn't be surprised if it flipped around by the end.
We'll see. We have a special up on YouTube if you haven't seen it and you want to see exactly who picked what and why. I think it was a good special. It kind of came out well.
Yeah, it's one of the highlighted videos on our channel. So if you just click our channel, if you're subscribed, I believe it shows up. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
GameList show on YouTube. All right. You got anything else? Am I forgetting anything? Good show. We went long, man. Probably like 2.5 hours long after edits.
I appreciate how we can argue about things and like fairly heated arguments, but at the end of the day, we just love video games and we get over it. Like, I think we have the ability to talk about topics in a different way than most podcasts do, just because they're afraid to hurt each other's feelings.
The small guys, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we got bigger than we are, we would probably tone it down a little bit, to be quite honest, because that's kind of just how like the industry works. You get big enough that you can't really bite the hand that feeds. If you want those review copies,
cut out any of your viewers by saying something they might disagree with.
Yeah, I mean that I'm not all that worried about, but for right now we'll be the renegades of the industry and just say how we fucking feel.
Yeah, but I feel like we have the good ability to argue with each other and bring up points and call each other out when we're being hypocrites.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff that a lot of people don't have that, and I enjoy that. I think it's a strength of our podcast.
I agree wholeheartedly. I would like to get, it's hard to find like other like-minded people like us. Like I really just like, I would love to have a third person on more often, or even like a fourth, and have some real roundtable discussions. There's a lot of you and I in an echo chamber going back and forth.
We talk a lot.
We do. I mean, this podcast would be fucking 5.5 hours long if we had 2 more people here, which would be fine with me, to make it a little less of an echo chamber. But it's tough to find people that are on the level and as interested in everything as we are. Truly interested in the industry, that are outside of the industry. So if you're listening to this and you think that you'd be a fit, let us know. You don't hear back, we disagree.
I have friends that I talk to about games, and then I start talking to them about industry stuff, and it just goes right over their head. They don't care about anything.
They're like, no, Call of Duty comes out in November.
Yeah.
Sorry, Colleen's friends that I'm imitating.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Where can they find you? Where can people find you?
At Kaulin_, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube.
Hell yeah. Where can they find me?
I don't know.
Come on, man.
At your house.
Besides there.
At Jake Twitchin. Without it, like twitching without a G.
Hell yeah. Kauline is how you spell Colleen, for all of you keeping track at home. All right, Colin, last words. Take them away.
I'm beating you at a fantasy.
More like the god of cunting.
Eyes up, Guardian. Eyes up, Guardian. I'm about to go play some Lightfall.
Eyes up, Guardian.